From the far corners of the fandom universe, representing film, comics, and anime, sci-fi, fantasy, and cosplay, they come together for one cause: to geek out. They are the Council of the Blurs. Blurred powers unite. Engage.
I think we're good to go.
All right.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Council of the Blurs. I'm, of course, your host, Kendrick Grey, the Dreadlock Bird, and the whole council is here. Even though if you don't see Enigma's girl, she is coming back in. I think she has some technical difficulties, but she will be coming back in. She just told to get started without her, so she will pop back in at some point. So you all know Dark Angel 29 and HB Gibson are both here. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode.
Yeah.
Before we begin the show, as always, please make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Hit that bell next to the subscribe button so you know exactly when we are posting up a new video or when we are going live. You can find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Discord. We're not on Twitter, and we're probably not going to be on Twitter because Twitter's a very bad place. But any other social media outlet that you can find us at is in the description box, so you can definitely find us there. So, and if you know anyone that's interested or might be interested in what we're talking about or just talked about in past shows, bring them this way to the channel. I want to say what's up to Smoke and Mirrors and Daryl for coming into the chat. Thanks for tuning in. This show is definitely guaranteed to be a pretty good show today. Our main subject is going to be one that's probably been talked about plenty of times before, but we're just going to be sharing our thoughts on the subject. Before we get into that, we just definitely want to take some time out and give our condolences and pay our respects to Mr. Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
He unfortunately lost his battle with colon cancer last Friday. I'll be the first to tell you, I had no idea he was sick. I know he was looking sick.
No one did, not even his coworkers.
No one knew that he was battling this disease, except for his close family. The only people who knew were his close family. That was it. But none of us, the public, didn't knew. We saw pictures of him looking very skinny, very sickly. Some of us were asking if he was sick. A lot of us just assumed he was just looking that way for a role. We know how method actors are, but when news dropped Friday night that he passed away, I will be the first to admit that my heart did sink. It really did, and because it was totally unexpected. We hadn't seen Chadwick for months now. I'll tell you that I haven't watched the Five Bloods yet. It's
good.
I'm definitely gonna give it a watch. I've seen a good amount of his other movies. I've seen 42. I've seen Get On Up. Get On Up, I think it's a fantastic movie. His role as James Brown was definitely spot on. It was spot on.
You don't just channel James Brown like that. You just don't. You gotta really it took a special person. Yeah. Chadwick Boseman was that special person to get in that role as James Brown. Yeah. Superb.
And then of course his portrayal of the King of Wakanda, T'Challa, in Black Panther. And even he recognized it. It wasn't just about him. It was about representation and what it meant for little black boys and little black girls around the world to see a prominent black hero portrayed very well on screen. I mean, we've had Blank Man, that was a comedic role. We've had Steel, which we don't like to talk about. And of course we've had Meteor Man, which is an underrated classic within its own time. But Black Panther definitely set a precedent for a lot of us. So we're definitely looking forward to more black superheroes and superheroines portrayed on screen in the coming future.
Absolutely.
everyone's been talking and stuff, but the only thing I think I could say this for all of us, that we just hope that the family is coping with everything that's going on right now, especially during this time of COVID and stuff. And you know, I would like to think that Chadwick, you know, definitely passed away in peace. You know, he was surrounded by his wife and his family members, so and he ultimately knew, even though he didn't tell us, he knew that he was essentially on borrowed time, even though, you know, reports are saying that he's getting ready to go for Black Panther 2. But that just is a testament to his work ethic. I mean, he dropped all these movies even while he was sick. You got to think about it, you know. I forget what year 42 came out, but he did, you know, Get On Up, Black Panther, The Five Bloods, 20, I think it was 21 Bridges? Is that the name of that cop movie he was in?
21 Bridges, yeah.
And a couple other things. Not to mention being a host on Saturday Night Live, which was hilarious. His Black Jeopardy segment is probably going to be the best one that's go down in history as one of the funniest segments on SNL. But I mean, as you can see, I'm rocking my Black Panther necklace. I bought one right after, you know, the day after he passed, you know, so I've been rocking it. This is the second day I'm rocking it. So, you know, again, to Chadwick Boseman, thank you for everything that you contributed to, you know, the entertainment industry, and I hope you're resting with the ancestors up there.
Yeah, man.
And
it was rough, bro.
Say, like, shout out to his family, his friends, his team. Like, nobody said anything.
And you know what? And I think that's probably one of the best things about the situation is, like, he had friends and family that didn't blurt out his business. Like, these days, like, anything newsworthy is going to drop, depending on who. There's always going to be someone that's going to want to share something about you. But the fact that, you know, he had the trust and discretion of his family and friends, like, really speaks to a lot of them. And a lot of celebrities can learn from that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm also pretty sure executives, I mean, you can't sign on. You normally, I'm not going to say you can't. You normally cannot sign on to these roles without disclosing information like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, because then they have to make their plan, like, you know, they have to make their plans accordingly.
Yes.
But, so assuming that, you know, the heads at Marvel Studios knew as well, like, just shout out to everybody who kept that a secret.
Yeah.
I think from what I read, and it may or may not be true, they didn't have an idea of what was going on either. They had no clue as well. And he was actually preparing to gain the weight back to come back as Black Panther. Right. So that was the whole thing, is that he thought he was going to be able to last a little bit longer.
And I think that was the other thing too. I think it was heart of hearts. I mean, you know, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, things like that. Those are unfortunately the tricky ones. It's like, you know, if you catch it in time, you can do something about it. But if you don't, I mean, that's essentially it.
It's metastasized.
That's essentially it. There's nothing you can do except just be comfortable and, you know,
live your life.
Yeah, we would have never known. But, you know, he did what he had to do, and he did what he enjoyed, which was the most important thing. So, you know, there's nothing but love and respect for Chadwick Boseman. Like, nothing but love and respect for him.
That hurt. I'm just going to tell you personally. I mean, it was like having to go through my day to day ever since I heard that. It was just like a dark cloud. It was like, and rarely have I ever shed tears over anybody, over any. I'm not even going to say famous. I'm not even going to say the word famous. This was just a guy that carried a character and carried something for the next generation, something we never saw, something that we hope to see. A superhero, a hero that was not just a superhero, not just a comic book character, but he was a king. He was intelligent, and we got to see. I hope nobody takes this as racist. We saw Black Power.
Yeah,
that's what we saw. We finally saw ourselves as intelligent warriors that took care of business. and him no longer being here, it just left a hole. It was almost as if like okay, when Christopher Reeve passed and everything, Christopher Reeve passed, and we knew him as Superman and everything like that there, but we didn't feel like Superman died. My God, y'all, I feel like T'Challa's gone, y'all.
I mean,
I feel like the character. I don't feel like they're going to kill off the character. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, it just feels like
I go through
that heavy.
I mean, on the one hand, I can understand it, and I can see where a lot of people are coming from, because it's like, I mean, if we think about it, we've had how many people play Superman? We've had how many people play Batman? You know, like, I mean, like I said, this is a credit to Marvel's casting. Like, the way they've casted their movies has been like
spot on.
It's been top notch. Like, you know, like, and
also Marvel doesn't really do what DC does. Aside from I guess you could say Spider-Man, but that wasn't Marvel Studios.
Right.
Marvel doesn't really do what DC does. DC will change out a character. Like, you know, you're thinking about who's going to be the next Batman or who's going to be the next Superman. You're not going to think that about Iron Man. You're not going to think about that. You're not going to think about that. You're not going to think like that about Black Panther or any other Marvel character.
Yeah, you noticed that. Yeah.
I mean, in my heart of hearts, and if I know the entertainment industry like I hope that I do, I just know that at some point, maybe not even. I mean, I'm probably in our lifetime, but it'll probably be real distant into our lifetime. They'll probably like try to do some kind of reboot of the MCU to some extent. I mean, their formula is pretty rock solid right now. Don't get me wrong. They have a pretty solid formula that can like really stretch for like another 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
But you have to consider the possibility that at some point they're going to try to find someone who can play a new Iron Man if they reboot an Iron Man movie, a new Captain America, a new Thor, things like that. As far as like, you know, the character of T'Challa, you know, it was interesting because he was the first. He literally was the first to portray a live action version of it.
Yeah.
You know, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, they've had time in. You know, they've been at this for a few years, but you know, granted, he got to portray the character 3 times. You know, with you know, Civil War, Black Panther, and Avengers. No, actually 4 times. And you know, Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War, and Endgame. You know, he had 4 runs of it. You know, when you portray a character that well, it just sticks. Which is for the same reason why, you know, we can't really picture anybody else being Iron Man except for Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Like again, this is the genius of Marvel's casting. They know exactly how to cast these things. I mean, granted, you know, they got rid of Terrence Howard. And we got
different Spider-Mans too.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about, okay, if you know, like if they can replace Terrence with Don Cheadle, which I think Don Cheadle is superior. Okay.
Part of me still would have liked to see
I think Terrence Howard would have been an interesting take.
I would have liked to see how that would have continued, but I do enjoy Don Cheadle's portrayal of Rhodey.
But does it feel like do you feel like maybe like a certain degree of I hate to use the word selfish, just like we just lost a guy and we're talking about recasting, even though we want to see T'Challa continue.
Here's the thing about that is the issue is unlike Cheadle's character, which is a lesser character amongst all the other characters in the actual Marvel universe at the moment right now.
Right.
You're looking at Black Panther, who is a pivotal character and a complete story. So you're looking at recasting that like you did Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So you're literally you would have to change the storyline entirely in order to recast that. So that's going to be the issue. So that's going to be a hard one to do, but like I said, they're probably going to switch it over to his sister. It's probably going to happen. It's probably going to be the case, and that's more than likely going to end up being the case. Is that they're just going to kill off the character and move on to the next one, and just move that down the line and just continue the storyline. We're just not going to get the whole T'Challa story at this point. We're not going to get that, at least not right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I feel like in this case, in this particular case, if they do recast him, it's not like they're going to treat him like he's a different person. It's
Right.
going
Right.
to be T'Challa.
Yeah, the
And
character. Yeah.
he's going to, like, the new person will just be the character, and they will
Yeah.
continue the story
Right.
if they go that route.
I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be. It won't be right away. It has to be. You have to have enough time. Like I said, like Spider-Man, you have to have enough time to forget.
Yeah.
You have to have enough time to kind of not remember who Spider-Man was prior to this. Same thing has to do with the Batmans. You need to recast Batmans. I mean, it's not the same, but it's the same. When you recast the Batman, you're not recasting them right away. You wait a couple of years. You kind of let that soft sore spot kind of get a little bit, that scab to kind of pick off. And okay, now we go like this. But like I said, the storyline's probably gonna have to change a little bit.
Yeah, we gotta heal. We gotta heal.
I mean,
definitely gotta heal.
Even just going to the chat real quick, Daryl brought up an interesting point. Of like, what was it, like maybe 2 years ago? They casted Mahershala Ali as the new Blade. For all of us who've been around long enough, our Blade has always been Wesley Snipes.
Right.
I don't even count that mess of a TV show that they put on TV. That was a whole trash. That was a whole trash boat of a series. He was getting his butt whooped in that series. I'm like, nope, this ain't Blade. I'm not watching this anymore. I'm not. I've had a few friends talking about can't Wesley Snipes do it? I'm like, no, he can't.
No, he
I mean,
can't,
as good as he is, he's probably still a very well-rounded martial artist. But I'm like, no, because considering the fact that's a completely different universe, much like those previous Punisher movies and like the original Spider-Man
X-Men.
trilogy and X-Men and things like that. This is within continuity within the universe. They have to get somebody new. So and I really think Mahershala Ali will do a good job. So I mean, I know it's very ingrained in us to really like stick to what we know and stick to what our favorites was.
Yeah.
But I think at some point we got to remember we got to separate the performance from the character. And just like Tiny said, like at some point they're most likely going to just recast T'Challa, and it's just going to be back to business as usual. But that's not going to take away from what Chadwick Boseman has done. He set the bar.
Absolutely.
Just like
Yes,
how
he did.
Robert Downey Jr. set the bar for Iron Man, or Chris Evans set the bar for Captain America. These guys right now set the bar. So if 10 or 20 years down the line they decide to reboot these franchises and reboot these movies, these actors are going to have some pretty big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Like at least with T'Challa, we've gotten a couple of. I mean, he only had one solo movie, so whatever the next movie is going to be about, which we don't know what the storyline is going to be about, they have a way of, oh my God. Okay, Robert. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Michael Jai White can't play everybody. Okay, we have to.
Jai White is Michael Jai White would be the same age as his mother.
We have to listen. I love Michael Jai White. I do. I really do. But even I have enough sense to know that he cannot play every black comic book character.
Yeah.
He can't. Like, people were talking about him for Blade. People were talking about him for Spawn. He did Spawn already. Now, unfortunately, the writing got muddled up with that movie. And
also, people are like, y'all know Black Panther is in his 20s. Mid-20s, early 30s, right?
If Black Panther came out 20 years ago, then I would have been with you. I would have been with you for him playing Black Panther. But no, I'm sorry, no. I love Michael Jai White, but as far as it stands for me, he can stay playing Bronze Tiger. I'd rather, if he's gonna play anybody, keep him as Bronze Tiger. He can play Bronze Tiger in the TV shows. He can play Bronze Tiger in the movies. Keep him as Bronze Tiger. That works for him.
Give him a Bronze Tiger movie. Why not?
That's it. I'll go with that. Just give him a Bronze Tiger movie, because essentially Bronze Tiger is almost like Batman. He's kind of like him. So let's just do it. But no, like and hypothetically speaking, if we're gonna go with someone new to play Black Panther, to play T'Challa, John David Washington.
Well,
yeah, I saw that too.
John David Washington,
like the first person I thought of, actually.
Or the guy who was in I think the last Purge movie. I forget his daggone name too, but he's an up and comer also. I'm forgetting his name, but it's between him or John David Washington. I'm leaning more towards John David Washington. Really, he looks like he could really pull off the look. So
See how he does in Tenet.
yeah. So and we still haven't seen Tenet yet, so we still got to see that. So so yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, moving on. And we also want to continue this show of love, and we want to wish good health to Dwayne Johnson and his family,
Yeah, man.
Kevin Nash and his family, and the newest Batman, Robert Pattinson. News dropped literally yesterday that Dwayne Johnson and his family, Kevin Nash and his family, and Robert Pattinson have tested positive for COVID.
It's Robert Pattinson? I thought it was a crew member.
It
No,
was
it's Pattinson.
It's him.
It was Pattinson himself.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Like at first
Yeah,
they
I could
were.
have sworn it said it was a crew member.
it's probably a crew. It's probably a crew member plus because
Yeah.
at that point you talk about a crew member. That crew member's probably been in contact with probably
Mhm.
16, 17 different people on set
Right.
Yeah.
at that point. So they have now probably all tested positive at this point.
Mhm.
So he may not be the only person. He's probably the only person that came back.
Right. So I mean, I think there's been news articles coming out that there's probably been a lot more film productions that have been shut down because of exposure. But as it stands right now, The Rock and his fam, they all been hit with it, and I don't think The Rock's
Yeah.
been doing much. I mean,
Well, they
Black
said
Adam-
they're on the other side of it, so they're no longer contagious.
right.
So
You know.
they've almost recovered.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about Kevin Nash. I think that just dropped. I think earlier today or late yesterday about Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Pattinson
Wow.
dropped today too.
And Robert
That's-
Pattinson dropped today.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. on Vanity Fair. It said that Robert Pattinson is said to have tested positive for the coronavirus, causing filming of the Batman to be halted
Right.
just
Yeah.
days after superhero drama resumed work at studios outside of London. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have to understand a lot of this is going to happen more and more because basically people are traveling.
Yeah.
They have to do a lot of traveling, so they're going to be having a lot of airfare, a lot of contact with other people, a lot of things. You don't know who you're sitting next to on a plane. And I've been on a plane recently, and a lot of people don't wear their mask. They take their mask off.
yeah,
So you have to be very careful. I didn't even take my mask off to do anything. I didn't drink. I didn't eat. I didn't nothing. And they're pumping in fresh air, which is the benefit. They're pumping in fresh air on a regular basis, so it's not recirculated air,
right.
but they're traveling on a regular basis. So this is going to happen more and more now when they're starting filming again. That things like this are going to happen, and people are going to contact it with everybody else. So it's going to be this whole 2-week quarantine before we start filming type of thing from now on. That's
Right.
pretty much what's going to have to happen.
So I will just say, do what The Rock says. The Rock says, keep your mask on, wash your hands, sanitize however you can. Basically, everything we were doing when the pandemic was at its peak. Just do that.
And make sure everybody coming over your house test negative.
I mean, let's be real, y'all. The Rock is probably the healthiest person on the planet. Okay.
Yeah.
He really is. The Rock is the healthiest person on Earth. So.
That's why he recovered.
So, really just do what he says. Really do what he says. Just real quick, going into the chats. Josh said, T'Challa, I feel, can be spun to be the namesake. Maybe there's another child in Wakanda that idolized him, or someone named in his honor, and take the test to prove he can be the Black Panther. I mean,
maybe.
Honestly,
As I said, it could be another story arc.
I mean, honestly speaking, the movies can really go anywhere they want. That's the beauty of the cinematic universe. They don't have to really adhere to the rules and confines of the actual comic books. The movie universe can go wherever they want. So, I mean,
Right.
It is what it is. But, speedy recovery to, Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Nash, their families, and Robert Pattinson, especially the Batman, because
Yes.
You
We
know,
waiting for that movie.
I know someone had suggested to do the quote unquote Tyler Perry method, and I said, well, unfortunately, that wouldn't work. Tyler Perry has his own soundstage, his own studio.
Exactly.
Yes.
Everybody has and he basically moved his cast and crew into the studio, and they could not leave.
See,
And I think and you know, he has the ability to do that because he has multiple sets, you know, at his studio.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a movie where you have to film at several different locations and all that stuff. These people aren't a lot of these movies aren't really filmed on set unless there's green screen work. They're filmed on They're filmed on location.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so unfortunately that's why I work. I know Zendaya recently did a movie at the peak of coronavirus. They did a movie and they did the exact same thing. It was just one set, you know, very simple skeletal crew.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to mic themselves. They did their own makeup. They did their own hair. I don't know how they would look with that, but you know.
You said Zendaya. I thought you were talking about Tyler Perry because we know.
No, Zendaya.
We know.
Zendaya. I know.
You know how Tyler Perry.
But you know,
I troll Tyler Perry all the time about his makeup on Twitter. So yeah.
Because them lace fronts isn't fooling nobody.
But thinking of terrible things, you know, going into terrible things that happen and things like that, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen,
terrible sequel.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's time.
You all know we love movies. We love movies. You love movies. Everybody loves movies. Now, some movies have a very first go around with their first initial release. Now, there are times where some sequels come out that happen to be just as good as the first one, sometimes better than the first one. But sometimes the filmmaker should have just been like, yeah, we're not making this. There's no way we should be making this. So we are each going to list off our list of sequels that should not have even seen the light of day. No one should have even should have yelled action for some of these movies. Like,
do you guys want to go in order, or so you want to just go like
on.
maybe Connie starts with one, and then you, and then Harold and me keep going down the list. That way we can keep.
I'll tell you.
We've done.
Yeah.
Like we've done before.
Yeah.
So
my list is fairly short. So.
I mean. I have a list of 10 and I have some honorable mentions, so we'll definitely keep the flow like that. We'll keep the flow like that.
So I'll preface this by saying I hate sequels that are actually reboots. Like if it's a sequel, it should have something to do with the previous movies, shouldn't it?
Right.
If they're calling it a sequel.
Right.
So the thing, two of them came to mind when I think about that, and that is Home Alone 3.
Oh.
And Cruel Intentions and Cruel Intentions 2.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on Cruel. I'm with you on both of those in a sense.
Yeah.
Because they had zero to do with the prior movie. Cruel Intentions 2 was a shot-for-shot remake.
Yes.
Yes, it was. That's exactly.
It really totally was. It really was.
With different characters. Yeah.
And I'm just like, why? But in terms of, I'm not even going to spend too much time on those. In terms of a sequel that was a continuation, but kind of not, that should not have been made, and I'm so upset because I love the movie. I love the first one. Was Alien versus Predator Requiem.
That's my number 9.
I actually didn't put any of those on my list because I already knew.
Thank you.
That's my number 9. Oh
yeah.
Look, I
badly lit. So bad. I mean, bad lighting.
Mm-hmm.
It was so dark. It was so dark. The fight scenes was like, I'm like, is this something wrong with my eyes? Because I'm watching the Pred alien fighting the alien, and I'm like, I can hardly see anything. Even when you watch it at home and you turn the brightness all the way up, you still can't see it.
Your goodness.
So I loved Alien. I feel like Alien versus Predator is a very underrated movie.
Yeah.
I admire movies and I admire actors that can kind of carry a good portion of the movie by themselves with like little to no dialogue, and I think Annihilation did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I've seen it more than once. So I think one time that I did watch Alien vs. Predator, I actually timed it to see how long she goes without very little dialogue. It was almost an hour and a half. So pretty much the length of a movie that she's carrying by herself with no dialogue. And then I get so excited. And then, they have that little, spoiler alert, what happens at the end. Then they, they have the send off of Predator. And then that's how Alien vs. Predator Requiem begins.
Yeah.
But you're thinking it's going to be a continuation. And it's not. I actually after that scene, I actually don't even know what happened. I don't remember what happened. I blocked it out.
I don't think anybody truly remembers that movie.
I
just remember it was terrible. That's all I remember.
I went to the movie theater to see Alien vs. Predator, and I went with a friend.
So did I.
Who didn't really like it only because he's read the comic books. I'm like, you gotta.
Okay.
You gotta.
Okay.
But
because it started in the comics. It
Yeah.
started in the comics. Dark Horse.
Yes.
Way back when.
In fact, I remember the arcade game. That was lit. The arcade game for Alien vs. Predator. But I think I saw Alien vs. Predator Requiem on TV. I'm like, and I watched it. No, I rented it. God, I don't know why I did that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I waited for cable.
Right.
I legit. That's back when I had movie channels and all. That's when I watched it, and I was like, "What am I watching?" That was the moment.
Let's take it apart. There's a character in there named Dallas. Is he like a distant ancestor of Captain Dallas?
Oh,
and then they had the that ATV type of thing, and then one of the actresses was kind of Ripley looking ish,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you see where I'm going?
That whole movie
was a hot mess.
It was complete dumpster fire.
Yes, it was a hot mess.
I went in here thinking like, okay, we're gonna get a Predalien. It's about to be lit. No. Like the scene that took me out really was the hospital scene.
Oh yeah,
where the Predalien really just impregnated like all those pregnant women.
Yeah.
In the hospital, I'm like, okay, we're out.
Enough.
We're done. This movie's over.
That's it.
That's
this
enough.
is over. And didn't like the movie end with like a missile strike or some dumb crap or something like that.
I don't remember how. That's how bad this movie was. I don't remember how it ended. I don't remember.
God.
It's so bad. I don't remember.
I think I would have been okay if Sanaa Lathan's character came back even to a small degree for it, but she wasn't in it, so I didn't care. So whatever.
If you remember, it ended kind of like the way Resident Evil 7 ended.
I don't remember how that ended because I stopped watching Resident Evil movies. I stopped watching Resident Evil movies after 1. So
No. I'm talking about the Resident Evil 7 game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Think about that. It ended in the forest, aftermath.
Okay.
Watch just look up the ending.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I remember. You see how confused all of our faces are right now. So we're all trying to go in the back of our memory banks and
look at the end. Look at the end of Requiem, and then remember the ending of Resident Evil 7 if you've ever played it.
I'm gonna have to look for YouTube for both of those things.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't play Resident Evil 7 games, so I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't play Resident Evil anything.
Real quick, just to go through the chats.
Some of them on the chapter on my list. So
yes. Daryl dropped a couple of them. He said The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really mind The Amazing Spider-Man 2 too much. I really don't. I don't like I think I hold that a little bit higher than the first one. I didn't mind part 2, only because I think Hans Zimmer was the composer for the music, so the music kind of like really worked with me there. I didn't like I didn't like the fact that the love story took precedent over the Spider-Man stuff. I didn't like that too much, but I actually thought it was pretty okay. I don't mind The Amazing Spider-Man 2 too much. He also said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Yeah, that was bad.
anything about that? Yeah.
That was bad. Josh said Cruel Intentions 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Osiris said Independence Day Resurgence. You gotta watch that a couple more times to probably get a small appreciation.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, I'm gonna tell you something.
The second time I watched it, I'm like, you know what? This ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I watched it. I did. I got bored the other day. I watched it.
Yeah.
There are some boring parts in it. Like, it doesn't have the same... But then again, Independence Day 1 has some boring parts in it. A lot of people tend to forget that. Like, the first half of the movie, everything up until the Statue of Liberty is destroyed, is great. The rest of the movie... I watch it. I only... When I watch it online... I mean, if I watch it... if it's on, I really only watch up to the attack and then I turn. So basically, the first act and the third act are the best parts of Independence Day. Independence Day Resurgence, if they had justified the 20-year wait a little bit better, I'd have been okay.
That's the biggest part. That's the biggest part about it that's driving me nuts.
If they had justified that part, I would have been okay. But Daryl said The Rage Carrie 2. I really don't even remember that. I watched it a few times.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
I don't remember it too much, but I didn't mind it too much when I watched it.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah. Daryl said The Predator. I'm gonna be honest with you. Out of all the Predator movies that exist, Predator 1, Predator 2, and Predators are the only Predator movies that I like. And except for Alien vs. Predator. I actually like Predators. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the idea that now
Predators was good.
They're not on Earth. They're on like a different planet and they're being hunted. I thought that was okay.
Yeah.
The Predator, I saw what they were trying to do, but if they had continued like with the Predators movie, if they continued from that, it would have been a lot better movie. I think it would have done way better.
It is watchable.
Hashtag Predator Buster.
Yeah.
But it is watchable though.
Exactly.
That's the part about it. It's like if it was on, I trust to believe I'll watch the entire thing. I won't turn from it. But it's not like something I'm gonna go look for. No.
Exactly.
Right.
He also said Iron Man 3.
I didn't mind Iron Man, but I'm also biased because I love Iron Man.
With the exception of the whole Mandarin deal.
Yeah.
I thought
the Mandarin was. Yeah.
That was disappointing. That was extremely disappointing.
What do you want? I'm an actor.
In all honesty, I would say one. My order is actually 1, 3, and 2.
Right, mine too.
Out of all of them, I like 2 the least.
Mine too. Like, and it's funny because there's a YouTuber I follow, Nando V Movies. He feels the same way. He doesn't like Iron Man 2, but the only reason why he doesn't like Iron Man 2 is because of the villain. He doesn't like the fact that Whiplash is the villain. He really feels like Justin Hammer should have been the main villain. I kind of agree with that.
I don't understand why so many people don't like Iron Man 2.
I don't hate it.
No, not you. No, I'm saying I know that there's a lot of people that really dislike Iron Man 2, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I don't see it either because for me, I guess it's because I don't know. Maybe he carried a lot of that movie entirely, but I'm like I didn't mind it at all. Yeah. So,
Daryl also said Blade Trinity. Yeah.
I mean, he was in full
Blade
RDJ,
Trinity.
Man.
Yeah, Blade Trinity.
Blade Trinity. I haven't seen anything but the original Blade.
Blade Trinity. You don't want to see Blade Trinity.
You don't want to see Blade Trinity.
What they did with Dracula was ridiculous. Like, it was... And literally, Blade Trinity was really built to be like a spin-off, like a start of a spin-off movie for like Ryan Reynolds and, what's her name? Daggone, who played Abby. From Seventh Heaven. I forgot her daggone name. I can't believe I'm forgetting her name, but it was really set up to be that. So everything that made Blade was not present in Blade Trinities, and luckily I fixed that. So you can go to my YouTube channel and go watch that video. Josh said Anchorman 2.
Yes, that's actually that one's on my list.
I'm a mixed bag with Anchorman 2 because Anchorman 1 is just so hilarious. Anchorman 1 is so funny. Anchorman 2, I think, tried a little too hard.
That's what the problem was.
Yeah, I think they tried a little too hard.
They tried to capitalize on that same type of funny, but the funniest part about Anchorman is that it was so misogynistic and so wrong in so many ways. Yeah. That it worked. You can't do that again twice.
You can't.
You can't double down on that. So that's why Anchorman 2 did not work. It's because that misogynist kind of humor
Mm-hmm.
doesn't play well twice.
Right. Daryl also said.
I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just to read up these comments real quick. Daryl also said X-Men: The Last Stand. I'll say that X-Men: Dark Phoenix did a slightly better job than X-Men: The Last Stand. I think if they had taken a few more elements from X-Men: The Last Stand, Dark Phoenix could have been a lot better. They started. I mean, the idea of it was actually pretty okay, but like it just kind of fell apart in some parts. He also said X-Men: Apocalypse. I mean, whatever. It's whatever for me. X-Men Apocalypse is whatever movie for me at this point. The only thing I like about X-Men Apocalypse is the X-Mansion rescue from Quicksilver. That's my only favorite part. John said Terminator Salvation. My gripe with Terminator Salvation is that it focused too much on Marcus Wright and not John Connor. That's my only gripe with the movie.
Yeah.
If it focused more on John Connor, it'd have been a good movie. I'd have been okay with it.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Josh, Connie, you have more on your list?
Jurassic Park 3.
Actually.
And Jurassic World 2.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is my number 4.
Yeah. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic Park 3. What the hell happened?
Okay. So, as the book reader, Jurassic Park 3 did not bother me, actually. The slightest. Now, there are things that are weird and unexplained that should not have happened, but it doesn't bother me too much because it kind of...
Go ahead. Sorry.
It kind of falls in that storyline, but the Jurassic World, the last...
Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom?
That Fallen Kingdom was... Woo! Woo! That movie was horrible. We didn't even knew it watching the movie in the theater. We just had to this is not good.
They tried way too hard.
This is falling apart. Like, this is not good. So.
Here's the thing. Both times they did this twice. So in Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, I'm lying. In Jurassic Park 2, which I actually did like, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it starts out as one movie and then winds up being another movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I noticed that. Yes.
Yes.
And
I'm like, wait a minute. Am I about to sit here for another 2 hours? What happened?
Yeah. Yes.
And how on God's green earth do you waste Jeff Goldblum? How do you do that? How do you do
technically,
that?
Technically, he's not supposed to be alive, but okay.
I mean,
that's a technical point and technically he was supposed to die in the first movie.
I heard that. I did hear that.
They just liked him.
He was supposed to die, and so was what's the character's name that created the park?
Dr. Hammond.
Dr. Hammond. They were both supposed to die in the first movie.
Studio producer.
You had me possibly die in the other film, but you brought me back. And then there's all this running and screaming.
I cannot with you right now.
That was spot on.
The World According to Jeff Goldblum is awesome. You should watch it.
I gotta watch that. I gotta start watching
it's good.
I gotta watch that.
And then I'm just going to list a bunch of movies that I actually did not even see because I didn't want the first one to be ruined. So I'm like, or the previous ones to be ruined because I felt like wherever I stopped watching, that was it.
Fair enough.
Why are we continuing it? So, Ken, you know this, like everything after Saw 2.
I put that set the last anything when it came back to Jigsaw. When it came to focusing on Jigsaw was
so good. Jigsaw was really good.
Maybe I will watch them, but I'm still like on the like, why are we continuing
really after like Saw 2 or Saw 3, it just becomes a crime story.
Because I even put Saw 2 because that was my. I don't have my list is out of order. I'm not even gonna tell you what's on my list, but that was on my list, and I said everything after Saw 2 except for Jigsaw. That was literally how I wrote that out.
Yeah.
Lion King 1.5.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Don't play with me. I love that movie.
Maybe I'll watch it.
Oh,
maybe I'll watch it. But it's like,
love
why? After seeing the first one, I'm like, why would I continue watching it?
You know why I love it? And this is going to be a weird reason why I love it. I love it because it reminds me of Mystery Science Theater for kids. That's the way they have it set up. That's the way they have it set up. It's so cute, and I love it because they're sitting up there, commentating on their own stuff. It's so cute. I'm sorry, I just got really excited. Like, I'm kind of really emotional.
Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it then. But right now, I'm like, why? Why does this exist? So yeah, I didn't see the last two Final Destinations, and I love that franchise. But after a while, it's like, why?
Yeah, Final Destinations was actually on my list as well, and I was like, after I even put after like the first three, like, enough was enough.
Like, yeah, it really was, because I was practically done after the first three. 2 was still my favorite, because that opening montage death scene, that takes the cake, boy. But no, like after three, I was done. I was done after 3. Final Destination 3, I was it.
You couldn't get me in a theater. You can give me the movies, I probably wouldn't watch them.
I did wind up watching them eventually, but and I actually don't even consider these. I don't consider these sequels. I consider them reboots because they have nothing to do. They're not continuations. Like, it's not like 4, 5, 6, whatever. But anything after Transformers 3.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I did wind up watching them, and I also don't really consider them sequels.
What about Bumblebee? Is that considered part of that? Is it considered separate?
I feel like it's a
Bumblebee is on a
prequel, maybe.
Yeah, Bumblebee's more of a
because that was in the 80s.
Prequel, yeah, and in a class by itself, by the way.
Because I was surprised at how much I actually really liked Bumblebee. I was surprised. I was like, I didn't think we both watched it. We didn't think we were gonna like it that much, but like we were actually wow, I'll take a sequel to this. No, I got Transformers in my honorable mentions because like after the third one, even the third one,
it got hard to watch.
Like even the third one, I kind of slugged through a little bit because like Dark of the Moon just felt like extra long for some reason. It felt like really extra long, and then like
I just thought something symbolic. I'm sorry.
And then Age of Extinction and that last night, I was like, okay, I'm done. No more Transformers for me. I wasn't even gonna watch Bumblebee after that. I was like, nope, I am done with Transformers.
I think that's what took us so long to watch Bumblebee.
And I think that's why I didn't watch. That's why I had no problem watching Bumblebee because I didn't see the last night. So I purposely did it. But can I say something symbolic? Wasn't it raining the last time we were on stream?
It's been raining like every night this whole week.
I didn't even know it was raining.
It was raining the last time we were streaming. It did rain. It thundered last time we streamed.
Yes, it did. Yes.
I just saw lightning again. I'm like, come on now.
Wow.
What are the heavens trying to say?
Raining in Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my window. I'm like, there's lightning outside. I'm like, this happened before. I'm like, what's going on?
It's like God saying, "What? I like Transformers." Transformers 2 though kind of shot me in the foot and was like, "F you."
When they started, you know what it is? I think when they started playing around with the characters and they started messing around and removing people, and I think that started changing the storyline. And then Shia went on his whole like
insanity run.
He got woke.
The action scenes were tiring. That's a good word for it. Yes. They were tiring. It was like, oh my God. I was like, all right, okay, this one blew. Okay, you blew this up, you blew that up. Okay, you're blowing it, and you're jumping from one building to the other, and you blew that up. But how many Decepticons are there? I mean, how many people are you gonna? How many buildings are you gonna blow up? And look at all the Bud Light all over the place.
Product placements everywhere. everywhere.
Oh, but listen, that Transformer, I still want it. I want that Mountain Dew soda
machine
transformer. I want that one.
So silly.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh man.
And then the last one I have, I don't dislike the movie, but to be completely honest, the only reason why I don't dislike it is because I grew up in the 90s and had an obsession with Immature back in the day.
Oh God, I know
that
you're
is-
on.
And that is House Party 4.
No, 4.
Oh, well, yeah, they were in House Party 3.
3, yeah,
but
they were.
when they were when they were kids, but as
Okay.
adults, they had a House Party 4.
Wow.
And again, it's one of those had nothing to do with the first 3 movies.
Mhm.
They weren't even the character. They weren't even the characters that they played in House Party 3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's
They
one of
were
those other.
completely different characters. But the only reason why I watched it is because I'm a 90s kid and I was a 90s R&B kid and I was obsessed with Immature. So I watched any
As
movie they were in.
every other like teenager and or preteen in the 90s.
Just to go through the chats real quick. Yes, Smoky Mirrors, we agreed. Transformers the last night. That took me out. I was done after that. Daryl said Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction. Like I said, I slogged through Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction.
I mean, I didn't mind Dark of the Moon. I do like the character Sam. So, and all of his movies I fairly enjoyed.
Yeah.
Of course, the first one was awesome.
Yes.
The second and third I fairly enjoyed.
Daryl said G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. Rise of Cobra is the first one. That's the first movie. You're thinking of G.I. Joe Retaliation. I didn't really like that too much either. I didn't like the fact that they killed off Duke just so The Rock could be the main star. And I love The Rock, but like you can't just be killing out here killing Channing Tatum.
I don't remember if I saw that.
Yeah.
It's not one of those movies you'll probably watch again.
Yeah, like I watched it on TV. I didn't even rent it. I literally just watched it on TV. I was like, and I kind of like spaced in and out of the movie. I was like, right. Like the RZA was in it. He played some.
It was
Ninja
like on
Master.
TBS or something like that.
I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't see this.
Probably,
you probably did. You probably saw clips of it. It was like probably on TBS, and you were probably watching it, and it was like in passing, and it was on the TV. And you didn't have a clue what you're watching, so you turned the channel.
Yeah,
that's literally what happened.
And I'm not a big G.I. Joe fan either. Like so like I rented the first one. I rented the first.
The Baroness though.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Daryl also says Scream 4. I've never seen Scream 4.
I don't think I've seen any screens past the first one.
I stopped after 3, and I kind of just forced myself to watch 3 because, man.
Wait, which one?
I think it's available on Netflix now. I think.
I think I eventually saw all the screens. I feel like I did because there was one with like Tyler Posey.
That was like the latest one, right?
I think that was like either 4 or 5.
Don't they have like a 5 or something like that? Or something?
I literally watched the first one. It was too campy for me. I gave up. I said, okay, I'm done. That's literally what happened. I never saw 2. I never saw 3. I never saw 4. I never seen any of those. But his next one is on my list, actually.
His next one's on my list, so I'm not going to talk about that just yet. And I'm surprised I didn't put this one up there. Smoke and Mirror said Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
I'm surprised you didn't either. I thought you were going to put that on there.
And I don't know why I didn't think about it. Probably because it's like
you have a love-hate relationship with it.
I don't even have a love-hate relationship with that movie. You know what? I do. I do have a love-hate relationship. I like making fun of that movie. That's what it is. I like
That's number 1 on my list, actually. But there were a couple of things in Annihilation that I liked.
Exactly.
But overall, it wasn't. It left me flat. And I told you about what happened at the end, right? When I was in the theater.
Yes.
Remember that?
I might have been in the same theater with you.
He was like, it was like Mortal Kombat. Somebody said, "Bullshit."
No. What happened in my movie theater? Somebody went like the whole scene where Liu Kang beat Shao Kahn, and like everything's like returning back to normal. Somebody literally in my movie theater yelled, "Hey, who hit the reset button?" But here's what I'll give Mortal Kombat. I'll give Mortal Kombat Annihilation for a couple of things. I'll give them credit for Motaro for actually having the balls to actually put that on screen the way they did, I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit for changing the ninja costumes up. I'll give them credit for Nightwolf, but that's about it. That's where that stops. That's literally where that stops. Other than that, no, I was done after that.
Well, that's the end of my list, and I do have to cut my part of this short.
Okay.
So.
Real quick,
I will
Josh.
see you guys later.
All
right.
Okay.
Go get him.
Josh said that Transformers, she was done with Transformers when they didn't use the All-Star to bring back Jazz. I was kind of mad about that too. I'm like, really? Y'all can't bring him back? Like, he's just ripped apart. Just combine the two parts together, use the All-Star to regenerate, and y'all good to go. But, I don't know. Whatever. Harold, you're up, man.
I just wanted to say that even black Autobot lives matter. Okay? Bring back Jazz, thank you. All right.
Honestly speaking, I would have rather him stayed than the two knuckleheads that we got.
There we go.
I would have rather Jazz stay than the two other jokers we got. I would have rather that.
He might have had other obligations. That's probably why they had to kill him off. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, not in any particular order. Yes, number one is Mortal Kombat Annihilation, with the exception of the fight between Sub-Zero's brother and Scorpion, because
actually, now that you mention it, that might be the only good fight in the movie.
And
that's the only one. Yeah.
And there were two tracks that I actually play from that soundtrack whenever I work out. That's Lunatic Calm, Leave You Far Behind, and the remix to Face to Face, Won't Lie Down. I play that quite a bit. I'm gonna breeze through it. Beverly Hills Cop 3.
You know,
there was a 3?
I have a soft spot for that one. I kind of like that one.
There was a 3. I barely saw the first one.
There was a Beverly Hills Cop 3. I mean, it was a PG-13 Axel Foley, and it just like, I mean, he goes to let's just say that a murder leads him to an amusement park, and then it becomes like basically a tour of Universal Studios after that.
Okay.
But no. I mean, after Beverly Hills Cop 2, which was one of those rare sequels that was actually better than the first.
Yeah.
You're gonna go and do that? Axel. Come on, you can do better than that. It's no. Escape from LA. Why did they do that?
It's funny. I saw Escape.
Like that.
It's funny. I saw Escape from LA before I saw Escape from New York.
Yo, what from that point of view? What'd you think?
I kind of dig Escape from LA, but I love Escape from New York.
Yeah,
Escape from New York is really good, really good.
I mean, nice to see Pam Grier and everything, but I mean, no.
I think they waited too long. They waited too long. Like, if they had come out like maybe like 2 or 3 years after Escape from New York, then yeah, because it would have been right in with that time frame. But because like Escape from New York came out when?
That was like in the 70s, right, or late or early 80s.
Like Kim, you doing the research, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Escape from New York came out in 1981.
1981. Wow.
And then Escape from LA came out like what, 97?
96.
96. Yeah. See, yeah, too big of a gap. See, people don't know that sometimes a big gap can be very detrimental to your franchise.
It can. Yes,
absolutely.
It can. Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along, we got The Godfather 3.
Ugh.
Never seen any of those movies. I can't stay awake.
Yeah, I can. I really couldn't stay awake for that one. There was only one line from that movie. Only one line. Every time I go out, they try to pull me back in. Pretty much, like I said, pretty much every Transformer movie after the original, except for Bumblebee. And this was just an insult to the legacy of John Belushi? Why did they do Blues Brothers 2000?
I like Blues Brothers 2000. Actually, I actually don't. I don't mind it.
I was gonna add that to my list, but I was like, nah.
No, I actually don't mind it because I actually find it just as entertaining as the first. That's why I don't understand people don't like it, and maybe because they think that legacy is gonna hold on, and they think it's like a disrespect. But it's the same type of thing. It's just, yeah, they're not as good as performers, but honestly, I had just as much fun with that one. And to see a lot of stars like Erykah Badu and
yeah, she played the
James Brown.
Yeah,
was it James? Wasn't he who was the preacher in this? Was it James?
Yeah.
It was James, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, so you see a lot of people that was, you're seeing a lot of big names and everything else, So and it felt decent. I mean,
yeah, I mean the RoboCop reboot had big names in it. I mean, it had freaking Michael Keaton and Samuel L. Jackson. What the hell happened with that?
Anyway. You didn't have music. That's the problem. Music makes a difference when you actually have a good.
See, the thing about the RoboCop reboot. Like, I was skeptical of it when I first heard about it. I was like, I don't know about this, because that original RoboCop, man, that's like
it's a hard one to live up to.
Yeah.
It's a staple of its time, man.
Yes.
Especially what happens to Murphy to make him become RoboCop. Like, you can't, like, that.
Right.
That's what makes the movie, man.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Like, I watched it once, and I was like, I probably never need to watch this again.
Yeah,
like I never need to watch it again.
Okay, moving right along, and this was a big disappointment because the whole movie, the whole series is just iconic, and I really think that Harrison should just hang up the hat myself. I mean, he's had his run. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That's actually on my list as well. And
that's on my list.
That was such a disappointment on so many different levels.
Yeah.
It was not even funny. It was like, come on now.
I really sat there like, why did you do this? You could have just left it alone. The franchise itself was it was good. It was good.
It was it should just left it be. And I get it. I think they were trying to shoot for Shia to actually become the new Indiana.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you go from a sort of history-based, fantastical type of situation to straight up sci-fi.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
Right.
It just takes away from the mystique that was the original Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's it did have that mystical thing about it, especially like the Ark of the Covenant, when they're looking at, that, and when they're opening that, stuff like that. It's perfect because you have that little bit of like, you don't know what happened.
Right.
But that's about the thing. You don't know what happened. That worked well in the 80s because you didn't have the technology and everything else. You just had to play that route. But now that we have technology, it's like, don't give me aliens.
Like what time
aliens
frame,
versus
like what time frame was that movie supposed to take place in?
It was basically in the 50s. This was like the Greasers.
Yes.
The Greasers section. The
Greasers time. Yeah, and what's happening is that it's like aliens versus Indiana Jones, pretty much.
Yeah, they could have did without that. They really could have did without that.
I'm like, no, that was just too far fetched. That was too way out there. And I get it. They were trying to make it so that way Shia comes back as an older Indiana, or or a young Indiana, whatever you want to, whatever.
Exactly.
Son of Indiana, pretty much. Son of Indiana. It's like,
yeah, because you saw he snatched that hat from him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like, nah, man, nah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that wasn't, when that bombed, they were like, okay, chill.
Yeah. What else you got?
We have Batman and Robin.
Yep, that's my number two.
That's the one that was actually mentioned in the chat.
Yep.
That everybody was kind of, it's on everybody's list. It was too much of everything. That's pretty much what it was. It was just too much of everything.
It was on the bat suit.
It was a very extended toy commercial. That's all it was. That's really all it was. It was a super extended toy commercial. That's it. Like, I don't know.
Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
That's my number one.
I was actually shocked. I was like, I'm not gonna put that on there because of Kendrick. I was like, I'm not gonna put that on there because of Kendrick. Kendrick's gonna say something. I'm like, I already know he's gonna say something. I'm not.
That's my number one. That is my number one.
I did not know that Superman had rebuild the wall vision.
Like okay, I know he had like a super array of powers in the comic books when like he was first introduced. We know this.
Yeah.
But they eventually streamlined his powers down as time went on.
Mm-hmm.
The whole kissing Lois Lane and making her forget, that was one thing in the previous movies.
Yeah.
The whole flying around Earth to turn back time, that's something else. But
yeah.
but the rebuild vision, I'm like, so you tell me you could build a whole house just by looking at it? Like, that's what we doing?
So I'm gonna need him to come. I'm gonna need him to come to Jersey, right?
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna buy some land, right?
Like, why are you not having? Why don't you have like a side job, just like building
as
houses?
a real estate agent?
Like, come on now, like Kryptonian real estate. Like, what? What's good? Like, come on now, like.
He's like, come on. You could. Like, I have to have my ear to the ground. I have to hear all the news.
Like sometimes news takes a break. There's people's houses burning down all the time. Like,
yeah,
like you saving people. Like, why don't you save some of this property? Like, what's good?
You can save the projects. Come on now. You
Like,
can save,
man. Like, oh man.
send some of the people in Gotham over here so that way they can have nice housing. Come on now.
Exactly. Like, oh boy, I don't know.
Okay, well, actually, I have one more at the tail end after this one.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 3. The Sam Raimi one, the one that was like tossed together, the one that I believe had to be made because they were contractually obligated to do it.
I just feel like we all know Venom is a character that deserves his own movie, whether it's him by himself or whether it's him versus Spider-Man.
Right.
He's his own villain. He's his own
character.
Yep.
Like, New Goblin, all right. Sandman, all right, cool, all right.
I liked Sandman. That was the only thing I liked.
Leave it at that. Like, some of the melodrama in that movie was like, okay, do we really need this? Like, the whole Harry telling Mary Jane, all right, you got to break up with Peter. My thing is, you're dating Spider-Man. How could you? Why would you not tell him, like, why don't you just be in his hair, like, pull him in for a hug, like, Harry's going to kill me. Well, he's going to kill you if we don't break up. You gotta do something. Did you really have to break up with him? Like, did you really have to do that? Like, you could have just been like,
they gotta do that.
I'd have been like, just pretend we broke up. Harry's going to kill us both. Like, really? Was that so hard? You couldn't do that. Like,
there's no logic in movies. Have you not learned that yet?
Yeah. I will say this though. I think the only saving grace in that movie was James Franco's Harry Osborn. He was the only part I liked. He was the only part of that movie I liked. Like the black suit Spider-Man. No, not like from what we saw in the comics, not like from what we saw in the cartoon. Black suit Spider-Man was ruthless. Like, he was really ruthless. Like, I could see why. A lot of people love it. There are some spots in it that I can roll with, but other than that, And
the number one, well, like I said, I had just said that this wasn't in any particular order, but the number one sequel that should never been made, because actually the first film should have never been made, based on the light gun arcade game House of the Dead 2.
Oh, good lord.
I think we all know the whole thing about movies based on video games. Most of them are pretty terrible, but this one here, Double Dragon is better than this.
Oh, good lord.
Okay. Double Dragon is better than this. House of the Dead. And how could you get House of the Dead wrong, except for the fact, like, oh, well, House of the Dead is a movie. The House of the Dead is a game. Let's make it into a movie. It worked for Resident Evil, so we're gonna. What kind of a budget we have? Let me see. I got like 25 cents and a stick of gum. That's basically
and my grandmother's camera in the back seat.
And my grandmother's camera in the back seat, and my friend next door knows how to do some zombie makeup, and girlfriend over there got like pink and purple lights. We could do something with it.
Well, considering who made the movie, you knew it was going to be bad. Uwe Boll is the king of bad video game movie adaptations.
There you go.
House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Postal, Blood Rain.
Right.
This guy just loses all over the place.
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
It's like, yeah, but no, that House of the Dead movie. I saw bits and pieces of it. I'm like, nope, I'm not watching this because I know what the game is. This is horrible. This is really horrible.
I snuck in to go see it actually, like when I was done with one movie, just to look, and that theater was as empty as when Gem and the Holograms was released. So,
wow, how about that for some nonsense right there, though?
That hurt the
how
soul.
About that? How about that for some reason?
Booyah!
Oh my God. Real quick, just going to the chats. Smoke and Mirror said the black suit was dope. Are you talking about Spider-Man? I didn't mind the way they did the black suit for the movie. I think it would have been better if they evolved the suit as the movie progressed to show it more like the Venom suit. I think I would have been okay with that. Smoke and Mirrors also said Star Wars: The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. The Force Awakens was a good nostalgia piece, in my opinion.
I enjoyed Force Awakens.
I can say I enjoyed The Force Awakens to a degree.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi is not as bad as
people make it out to be, honestly.
Yeah, it's not as terrible. It's bearable. Like if you have to, you can grit and bear it. It's a long movie though. It's a mutual grit and bear it.
I know people didn't really like the way Luke Skywalker was portrayed in it, but like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like a lot of what he was saying to Rey at his Act 2, I'm like, you know what? I can agree with him. Like the Jedi Order, yeah, they're at fault as much as the Sith is. I can agree with him. He's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong.
You know, the problem with a lot of the Disney adaptations and Disney add-ons is that they introduce too many characters with not enough backstory.
Yes.
So we had a lot of characters kind of just being thrown at us from left and right, and these characters just kind of disappear. They come and go. Like even what they did with Finn. Finn he came out and even said how they did his character was dirty. They did his character dirty.
My man John came out swinging with that one. He was on with that one for sure.
Because that was a hot mess.
The Rise of Skywalker, like I said, I understood what they were trying to do, but the execution of it was just
it was bad. It was bad.
Bringing back the Emperor, to me, wasn't a great idea.
I didn't mind that. You know what? That didn't bother me.
I would have been okay if Snoke came back. I would have been okay with that. Like, all right, let Snoke be a clone. All right, he has an army of clones. Okay, I can go with that. Like, I mean,
I didn't mind that part at all. I didn't mind that.
The dark side is the pathway to many abilities that some deem to be unnatural.
I'm gonna say this. I think the new trilogy gave me an appreciation for the prequel trilogy, except for Attack of the Clones,
which is on my list actually.
But the Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith, I love those movies.
Yeah, the problem is that the one thing I didn't like about Rise of Skywalker, and it's like the main gripe for me, is pretty much the last 20 minutes of the movie. The last 20 minutes of that movie. I'll give you even the last 30 minutes of that movie. Were such the most idiotic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I really would have preferred that Ben stay alive, honestly.
Yeah.
Like him and Rey both alive. Like, like I've seen a couple of people do like their own revisions of the Rise of Skywalker on YouTube. Some of them were pretty good. In fact, there's one that really sticks out to me. It would have done Finn justice. It'd have been where this thing where it's like we discover that Finn is force sensitive, so basically he goes out to train to become a Jedi. Rey goes out to discover herself, and Ben goes all in on being a Sith Lord.
What? Yeah.
And if that's the case, you know, and that would have been perfect because at that moment to make it a whole like romance. That was the other thing too, like make this a whole romance type of thing. That was driving me nuts. I'm sorry. Does he have a belly button?
Who?
Because every time you seen what's his name?
Kylo Ren without no shirt.
Kylo Ren
You mean
without
Ben,
a shirt.
You mean Ben Swallow?
Oh God, yeah. Every time you see Kylo Ren without a shirt on, he doesn't have a belly button because his pants rise all the way above his belly button, and I don't know why that drove me nuts because it looks so.
That's the real Rise of Skywalker.
Star Wars: The Rise of Ben Solo's Pants.
That's the real Rise of Skywalker right there. Mm-hmm.
The rise of Ben Solo's pants.
Right
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that drove me crazy because I would just stare at it. I'm like, why did they cover his belly? It looks awkward. Like he has grandpa pants on. Like what is going on? Like
they really kind of did though. That kind of drove me nuts too. I can see what you're talking. Like the one thing that I really wish they had explored more was the whole diode thing between Rey and Ben. I'm like, explore that. Let's get more of this. Like this is interesting stuff.
They turned it into a complete romance.
Like I'm like,
they switched it into a romance, and I'm like, that's something I would have loved to see more of that. But again, they had to close that quick because they lost Carrie Fisher. They lost Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the actor's name for that. I'm sorry, I really can't remember his name. And I apologize for that. You know, you're losing actors left and right pretty much. You have actors that don't want to come back. Finn was not going to come back for another one.
No.
You know, I'm like, you're gonna have a lot of characters that are not gonna come back. So they had to end this quick. They had to get this done out. Wash your hands clean.
Even the Lando thing didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lando. Wow.
Didn't do it for me at all. I'm like,
no. It was a nice touch, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, definitely.
And Daryl said Ted 2.
Yeah, I hardly remember Ted 2.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't remember. I barely remember watching Ted 1.
Me too.
Actually, my friend Daryl actually said that Attack of the Clones. He agrees. He said Kendrick agrees that Attack of the Clones, because he basically said the same thing to me earlier. Attack of the Clones has to be on that list.
It's like, I mean, I understood what they were trying to do with Attack of the Clones, but at the same time, I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
but Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith, those are the two from the prequel trilogy.
I would have loved more of Darth Maul. I would have loved more.
Exactly.
Darth
Maul.
Yes. Exactly. Of course.
We did not get enough Darth Maul.
Like if there's a couple of things I could have changed with the prequel trilogy, more Darth Maul is definitely one of them. I would have made Anakin a teenager in the Phantom Menace. I wouldn't have made him a kid. I would have made him a teenager.
There you go.
At least by the time we get to Attack of the Clones, he's the age that he is. I'm like, it makes sense.
It was a huge progression.
And I'm like he goes to the Jedi Temple and they're telling him that he's too old. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, he's a kid. You have kids in the temple. So what's the problem? Is he old in mentality? Like, what? Like, I don't understand this. What does it mean? So, like, if he were a teenager in the Phantom Menace, then it would have made more sense. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah. You know, he's a teenager. He's probably a bit too old. You know.
Would they have sensed the Force in him as a teenager, though?
And that's the other thing also. That would have been a different thing. That would have been an interesting thing.
That's a good question.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's, well, I definitely agree with you. More Darth Maul would have been good for everybody.
Yeah. Everybody. Because that one fight scene was not enough. It was not enough. It was like, we needed more than that. We needed... Like, I need a whole Darth Maul movie. Forget all that.
Really? Honestly speaking, yeah.
I just need a whole Darth Maul movie because I can just sit there and watch him fight all day long.
So the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars didn't do it for you?
No.
Oh. Bring back Ray Park,
Yeah.
Bring him back. Come on, Ray. Let's do some more Darth Maul, please.
Yes, definitely.
Even a standalone Darth Maul film or something, or a series or something. I mean,
I'd be okay with a like, even if it's a miniseries or something like on Disney Plus, a Darth Maul miniseries. I'd be okay with that.
And if you know what, let's do that. Let's normalize making shows about villains.
Right. Exactly.
Let's
yes.
normalize that. Let's make this a normal thing. Let's petition this out. Like, you know what? Let's start making movies about villains. Let's start making shows about villains. Because I would love to see the dark side. It worked for Dexter. Why can't it work for anybody else? Why can't I enjoy a villain?
I definitely wouldn't mind a Darth Maul series. I wouldn't mind a Darth Vader series from like after, like let's say like all the in between stuff. Like after Revenge of the Sith,
after he lost the limbs and then became who he was.
Yeah, like after Revenge of the Sith, because like I know like what the first Rogue One is like supposed to be in between like what?
Yeah.
Like Revenge of the Sith and The New Hope, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Let's just do one from Darth Vader's perspective. I wouldn't mind that. Like I know a lot of the comic books and graphic novels go into that. There's your source material right there. Like, what the heck?
There it is.
Yeah, because it really would be nice, you know, to get something from the villain's perspective from now on. Not just to be like, okay, we're always getting it from the side of the heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to start seeing it from the side of the villains. We need to start seeing them come out swinging, how they became who they became, how they ended up where they are. Those backstories would be amazing to watch.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Disney should definitely get on that because, you see how well Mando's doing, and Mando is a bounty hunter.
Exactly.
So if a bounty hunter can do well as a show, you can imagine what you would do if you had a villain just roll up there and you just had a series just based upon them.
I would dare to say that most Star Wars fans are more fans of the villains than they are the heroes.
I was like, I have more. On my desk alone at work, I have I have various Darth Vader figures. Nothing but Darth Vader.
I still remember that video. I don't know if you guys seen this video. I think it's at like the Star Wars theme park at Disney World. There's this little girl who approaches the Darth Vader actor, and like he tells her to join the dark side, and then the Jedi
bows down.
And she bows down. So I'm like, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
it's
that's
cute,
actually before,
but it's the funniest thing.
It actually happened before it became a theme park. That was actually just an experience.
I think that was that was Star Wars something Bay or something. It was that one particular little Star Wars section next to Star Tours. But
I have a picture in front of it, right in front of the AT or at whoever decides however you want to say that term. I'm not going to be political, but it's right in front of that scene right there.
When we all saw The Empire Strikes Back, and we saw that one particular scene where Darth Vader assembled all these bounty hunters to look for the Millennium Falcon, I think every Star Wars fan wanted to know, what's that part of the Star Wars universe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to see that part.
Yeah.
Because I treasured my bounty hunter action figures, man.
They're cooler.
They were dope, man. And I've said many times, watching The Mandalorian was like watching all of my bounty hunter action figures come to life. We always wanted to see what that IG bounty hunter droid was able to do, and my God, wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right, so Kim, what else you got?
You want to hear it? So, all right, let me go through my list real fast. So I have my guilty pleasure because every time I go on a cruise, I watch it. Speed 2.
Oh,
that's my number 7.
It should never happen. I'm sorry, Sandra Bullock.
That should have never happened.
That should have never happened. I'm sorry. That the plot line was stupid.
Yep.
The movie was stupid. Even the cameos I found funny. That's the only thing I found funny. The same guy that was in Showgirls, I can't remember his name, with the dreads, was actually in the same movie again because he stole his car and he steals his boat. That was the part I found the most hilarious.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, it should have never happened.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna get a lot of backlash for this, but the Friday the 13th movies after like the third or fourth. No, actually, after like the third movie, it should have stopped.
They just became comedy after a while to me. They really just did. Like, it was like, how many times can this guy keep coming back? Like, seriously.
I have a soft spot for Uber Jason.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like Uber
Yeah.
Jason. Just the way he looked was dope, man.
I'll give them credit for that. At least changing his look up. I'm like, okay, I can rock with this.
Cyber Jason,
I'm
yeah.
kind of mad though. I'm kind of mad that we didn't get that skin for Mortal Kombat X. What the heck, man?
Oh, they don't have the Uber Jason skin.
I'm really kind of type mad we didn't get that skin. Like, at least give him that. Like, come on now.
That was a dope look, man.
It really was though. That's the only thing that really interested me in watching that movie was to see that. But no, I'm with you. Like everything after 3, I was like, okay, why is Jason still here? Why is he coming back?
Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
That definitely became comedy after a while. It really did.
It was just like, come on now. And I get it. They stopped them, but the sequel should never. After the first one, I get maybe to the second one, but come on.
Yeah.
Enough. And you'll notice my first 4 are all horror movies, by the way. Then we're going into Hellraiser. Everything after.
Yeah, they
just
keep coming. I don't know.
And, and again, I'm probably going to get a lot of talk about this, but I didn't like anything after the second one. After the second one, I really didn't get into any of the Hellraisers at all. I couldn't watch them. They were silly to me.
Yeah.
I love Pinhead, though.
Yeah.
I love Pinhead. Blair Witch 2.
Oh, good Lord.
Why?
Oh,
are you talking Book of Shadows?
And I watched the entire thing.
Oh, Lord.
Why?
Oh, God.
And there was no Book of Shadows in there.
It's like literally they go into it like they find a house in the middle of the woods. Like, let's go inside.
I watched that one time and I was done. I'm like, you have got to be kidding. I wasn't, and granted, I'm not even a fan of the first movie. Like, everybody was losing their minds when this movie came out. I'm like, really? Y'all was scared of this? I rented it. I was like, y'all was scared off of this?
No, you know what it is? It wasn't necessarily scary. It was more
the psychological thing.
Yeah, the psychological effect that had on a lot of people of being in the woods, especially if you're like a camper. If you're like, I don't go camping. I'm sorry, I don't do that. It's not my. But if you're like a camper, that's gonna scare you because that's something that you would relate to.
Right.
So I get that, but if you're not a camper, you're like, yeah, I ain't running through nobody's woods unless I have to.
Right. Didn't they make another one like called just Blair Witch?
I have no clue. I won't watch anything but the Blair Witch. I won't watch anything but the original, and I watch it just to watch the end part.
Yeah.
Play the game.
Glass is the next one on my list. I'm sorry.
You know what?
We wanted it to be good. He wanted it. It should have never happened.
I wanted it to be better than what it was. I'll say that. I wanted it to be better than what I really wanted the focus to be mainly on like Elijah Price's character. I wanted the focus to be on him, but it wasn't. It was really about Bruce Willis's character and James McAvoy's character. Granted, James McAvoy killed that. He killed it. I ain't gonna lie, he killed it.
He plays the Horde very well.
Yes, he really does. But like, I was really hoping that Samuel Jackson was gonna take center stage. The movie's called Glass, so I'm like, okay, so he's gonna be around him.
And it barely focused on him. And then it took too long to get from point A to point B.
It kind of did though. It really kind of did though.
I'm like, because even with Bruce Willis, like you sitting there looking at him, he looks like old and all ragged, and I get they tried to explain it away that he's living like a semi-normal life.
Yeah.
But it was horrible.
They just threw too many things at the end. That's what really killed.
And then he dies in a pool.
That was ridiculous. I was so upset about that. I was like, "Are you serious?" Okay, James McAvoy's character getting shot because he's in normal mode. Okay, I can work with that. His defenses are down. His power's down. But you kill a whole Kevin Dunn in a puddle of water. What the actual ass? Like, are you serious right now? Yeah, that I agree with you. That kind of took me out. I was like, I was riding with it until that. I was like, this is how they go out.
Yo, he went Deadpool on us. What in the actual ass?
I'm like, it's like, and I'm just sitting there, just like, it's like you can't unsee, like you can't undo that, and that's that M. Night Shyamalan effect.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yep, you gotta say it right now. Say it right.
I gotta say it right. The M. Night Shyamalan
Ding Dong.
Yeah, effect.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, I was done. I can actually see. I can agree with you on that. I was done. There are certain parts about it that were okay, and it really should have been a lot better than what it was. But like, Shamalama Ding Dong did his thing. So, and the thing is that I was so stupid because I saw a split. I'm like, okay, this movie's interesting, and then to find out it's a sequel to Unbreakable. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and everybody was like, oh. They're like, yeah, we're gonna come up with glass. We all got excited.
I was like, yo, it's about to get. No,
it's a Shamalama Ding Dong verse.
Yes. Oh man. Next one on my list. Never want to see it. Never want to touch it. Never want to look at it.
Okay.
Son of the Mask.
Oh, burn that.
Oh.
Burn that movie. Burn. I didn't even rent it. I didn't go see the movie. I watched it on TV. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible.
Oh.
And at the time, I was a Jamie Kennedy fan at the time too. So I'm like, okay, Jamie Kennedy's in it. All right. But like, no. Nope.
No.
Oh,
No. You cannot. And first of all, how did they think they were going to upstage the man who they didn't even need to do CGI on his face because his facial expressions were so good?
Exactly. Exactly. Jim Carrey killed it. All right.
How do you upstage that? You can't. That's done. I'm like that. Yeah. Nobody else can do it at that point.
Nope.
You can CGI it to death. Nobody else can do it. Ace Ventura 3 or
you mean Ace Ventura Jr.?
Oh God.
Screw that movie. Screw that movie. Screw it. Screw that movie.
Oh.
I sat up late night and watched it. Just because I'm like, okay, what was it on? What was I watching it on? Crackle? One of them joints.
One of the free ones.
One of the free ones. I was like,
it would be on Crackle, ladies and gentlemen. It would be on Crackle.
You know, it's on Crackle and it's on another one. It's on pretty much every free movie. Yes, it's on Tubi. It's on Tubi. I think
that's where I watched it. That's where I watched it. I said, you know what? Let me sit and watch this thing just to say that I did, and get it out of the way. None of the charm, none of the wit, none of what made the Ace Ventura movies funny.
Yeah.
The kid was a jerk.
Yeah.
Actually, the kid was just a jerk. There was no Ace Ventura-isms in him at all. The kid was just a jerk. Like, at least Ace Ventura had like some form of manner.
He was a jerk, but he was a funny jerk. That's the difference.
And he was only a jerk to people that deserved it. He wasn't a jerk to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Monopoly Man.
Exactly. Like, no, I'm right there with you, Kim.
Yeah, that was just no. That was a definite no. Another guilty pleasure for me, but I know a lot of people hate it, and it should never been made because a lot of people hate it, and it's Grease 2.
I was gonna add that, but I never seen it, so I couldn't say anything. I've never even seen Grease 1, so yeah.
Yeah, the only song I remember from that song is Cool Rider.
Yeah.
And that's the only song I remember. The main character, the guy, is like a Brit.
Yeah.
Who was that? Who played the guy?
I
know Michelle Pfeiffer was the girl. I know Michelle Pfeiffer was the lead.
I gotta look it up. I don't remember his name. He was like some handsome Brit. Grease 2 cast. Let's see. Blah 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 blah. Was it Maxwell Caulfield? Might have been.
Name sounds familiar, but I don't know from anything else.
Maxwell Caulfield.
Didn't he marry someone old enough to be his grandmother? Or was I reading too many tabloids?
I don't know. I don't get that involved with a lot of people. But maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking at his videos right now, and his movies right now. It's not necessarily much I can see that I necessarily know.
Like who? Like what? What they got?
Like, let's go to more recent stuff. Submerged.
Nope. Don't know. Nope.
Absence of Death. Oh, he was in Empire Records apparently, but I don't know what he played.
Oh, okay.
Electric Dreams, Gettysburg, Sundown, The Vampire. Sounds like a lot of B movies work.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, definitely, you know, it was one of those things like, you know, it should have never been made. It was like I enjoy it because I just like musicals, and I just like if you can get good catchy songs from me, I'll watch it all day long.
Right.
But if it doesn't have catchy songs, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else is on my list? All the scary movies after Scary Movie 2.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Scary Movie 2 is the best one.
Yes,
it is
was
absolutely the best one. But after that,
absolutely
I was
hilarious.
Done. Do I even remember 3? I think I watched it and I barely watched 3.
Yeah, I don't remember it. It's like everything after Scary Movie 2 never needs to be made. Even the one where they did the haunted house one, that was not good. It didn't need to be made. I'm sorry.
Yeah, need to be left alone. Yeah.
Nah. Everything after Human Centipede 1.
Ew.
Oh God, the concept of Human Centipede was already horrible.
I haven't seen the third one. I saw the second one. Oh my God. Like,
it's just after a certain point, it's just sadistic.
Yeah, it's just grotesqueness. That for the sake of grotesqueness. That's what
it's pretty much that. It's like it's not. It doesn't have a concept. It doesn't have. It's just like whatever. I just want to make this. So, yeah, that's there. Only because I'm sorry, I can't keep my straight face. Weekend at Bernie's 2.
What?
Oh man, I never even saw Weekend at Bernie's 2. I never saw it. Never saw it.
Weekend at Bernie's 2 is. I can see what you're saying.
That's all I can think. Basically, the whole concept is that Bernie, who is still dead.
Yeah.
They find him. I guess they found him at a voodoo place or whatever, and they put a thing on him that every time he hears music, he hops up and starts
dancing, or some facsimile of dancing. Yeah.
Always the same move. Gosh. He gets up, he hops up, he plops back, and he just. I had to drop my whole headset trying to do it. His head just plows back, and he just starts. It's like, oh my gosh! He just starts walking around randomly. So they like are constantly playing music to get him around. It's like it serves no point. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Oh my goodness! And I can't stop laughing because all I can see is that dance in my head frame. All I can see, and I really can't do it, so I have to have a bunch of room to do the dance. But I probably would do it if I had room. I hated all the Jumanjis after the original Jumanji.
Really?
Yes.
Welcome to the Jungle's You know what? I wasn't expecting to like Welcome to the Jungle, and I actually ended up liking it. I thought it was actually pretty funny.
I know. It's like I like that they paid homage to the original.
Yeah.
In a small sense, but it doesn't. For me, it doesn't explain what was happening in the original in Jumanji.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, so for me, I necessarily it feels as though I get it. It was changed. It was modernized, whatever the case may be, but to pay homage to something and it's still in Jumanji,
right,
makes me think like how much has this developed from point A to point B that it has changed,
right? And
they don't explain that in Jumanji. It's like basically now it's just a game, but it wasn't a game in Jumanji. It was real life for him.
Yeah.
That was real. He's being chased around by animals and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Plus plus his father with a shotgun.
Right.
It was a shotgun. I don't even think
it was some kind of super shotgun. It was something. It was like some kind of bull killer or something like that. I don't know what kind of mess gun that was.
Some elephant hunter or something like that.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Yes, elephant gun
or something. Yeah,
elephant gun.
Yeah. So it was like literally, it's like that whole mindset, and to have it changed to like, oh yeah, people are just plaguing it. That's the reason why. It's like it's people here. Like, what happened to the animals? What happened to all these like giant,
super exaggerated animals and stuff? Yeah.
And wildlife that was gonna pull you in and eat you up if you're not paying attention. Or poison you.
Right.
The big spiders. Come on now.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, I haven't seen the latest one to come out. What's that called?
Next Level.
Yeah, the Next Level. We haven't seen that one yet, but we're gonna watch it at some point. But I can see what you're saying, because the original was something special. It was really
something special.
Yeah. Every Pitch Perfect after the Pitch Perfect one. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Pitch Perfect one was perfect as it was.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the Bellas as, you know, seniors and juniors for like 6 years.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I'm like, and that's what it made me feel like. It made like your 25-year-old Bellas singing on a stage, you know, and then to have a character named Fat Amy, which I get the reason why she named herself Fat Amy is so that way other people didn't call her Fat Amy. But
even though she's looking a lot better now.
Yeah, she does. Rebel Wilson looks a lot better now.
Yeah.
But
probably a cash grab thing. They wanted to just keep the movie going, I guess. I don't know.
It was just horrible. It was just horrible. I get it. And there was that whole thing where people were doing acapella stuff again. It was like a whole boom, and it just kind of just went up and down. And I'm like, it's too much. And the first one was good enough. That's the only one I watched. The second one I watched just to say I watched it. Nothing after that.
I think we saw it in the movie theaters, actually.
The original?
Yeah, the second one, actually. We saw the second one in the movie theaters. You know, so.
Don't get mad at me, y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Ralph breaks the internet.
I haven't watched that yet. I haven't even watched that yet.
I haven't really. No, I haven't watched that yet either.
I actually sat down and watched it.
I wasn't in a rush to go watch it, actually. To be honest with you.
I didn't. I watched it on TV. Actually, I watched it on TV. Yeah, TV. I watched it on TV. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where things happen and they make no sense. And I don't know. It's like Penelope herself needs more. And that's pretty much what's going on there.
That's what I heard. What was the main premise?
Yeah, so I didn't necessarily care for it because the transition was like kids movie, semi-kids movie, kind of dumb.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely didn't appreciate that one. Another one I didn't appreciate, Ocean's 12.
Oh, God.
Really?
Oh, my God. Look, look, I fell asleep watching that movie.
Shocker.
Ocean's 12. I am sorry. I apologize to everybody involved in Ocean's 12.
That movie was a slog and a half. Like, oh, my God. Like, my boy wanted to check it out, so we went to go see it. I fell asleep watching that movie. It was so
because
boring.
11 was so good. 11
it really was.
11 was good and 13 was amazing.
Yep.
I'm like, 12 was like a dumpster fire, as you call it.
It really was.
It was like
so bad.
It was awful.
Julia Roberts as Julia Roberts.
Yeah, I was kind of
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was like, what? What kind of madness is this?
That's Julia Roberts.
What is happening here? I don't know.
Whoever thought that up was the dumbest person ever.
Yeah. Wasn't like Topher Grace in that or something like that?
Probably.
Someone was in that, yeah.
Probably. I don't remember who was in it. I don't care. It was horrible. That's all I remember. It was terrible.
It was so bad. Oh my God.
So this one I wrote in the form of a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody watch Grown Ups 2?
I watched some of it.
No.
I watched some of it. Yeah, definitely. No. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No. You don't.
Did anybody out watch? Did anybody watch Grown Ups 2? Just let us know in the comments if you've seen that movie. I'm just curious because I don't remember even knowing that movie came out. But I'm like, so I'm just curious. If you don't know a movie came out, then why did this exist in the first place?
Right.
You know, Shrek Happily Ever After.
Now, which one was that one? Because they all blur to me, actually.
That's the one where they turn them human.
That was the one with Justin Timberlake, was it?
I believe so. Where they have like a he finds like a kid, and it's like this whole like relationship story, and
I saw that.
So it's forever. Sorry, Forever After, not Happy Ever. Forever After.
Oh, Forever After. Yeah.
It's such a like mushy.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, you like the ogres. You want him to be the like the jerkish, funny-ish ogre, and it's like he's being so heartfelt and loving, and it's like, what is this? I don't like this. Throw this away. Throw it all away. Everything. Throw it all away. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Which one? The sequel, right? I still know
The
what you did last
sequels.
summer?
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, that was pointless. It really was pointless.
Hmm.
Wasn't it like a third?
Yeah, one of them had Brandy in. One of them had Brandy in it at one point in time.
I think that might have been the second one.
And it's like, I'm sorry.
No.
I Know What You Did Last Summer should have been one.
Yeah,
One
it
movie.
really should have been.
Nothing else. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a longer list. I'm just getting through
It's okay. It's okay.
Now You See Me Too. I love the first one.
The first one was good.
The first one was really good. You found out Mark Ruffalo was the spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet, was the antagonist the entire time. You know, but he was playing the protagonist the entire time.
Right.
It was amazing. It was awesome. It was good. It was a good twist.
Yeah.
Shyamalan, take notes. The problem was when Now You See Me Too, there was only one good scene in the movie.
Right.
Only one. And that was when they were passing the card between the three them while they were all getting checked. That was the only good scene. Everything else, trash.
Wow.
I don't remember the rest of the movie. I don't remember what's going on. Who's working for who?
Well, strap in. They're making a third one.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're making a third one. So.
Did they think the second one did that well? They can make a third?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's their money. It's not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we're not in the middle of a pandemic, you know, and you can, you know, just keep throwing your money away because, you know, people are gonna be going to the theaters like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I got Resident Evil sequels.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. And I'm at a certain point. There's some of them I'm on the fence about, and then there's some of them that I really can't stand. I can't remember the one that has Ashanti in it. What's the one?
That was the third one. I think
They all, honestly, they all blur together for me too.
Yeah, it's like
they all do.
Except the first one was the amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's like what a video game movie should look like. That was
yeah.
That first one was like, whoa. After that, it was like, come on.
I saw them in bits and pieces. I saw the first one fully. I skipped out on. I saw some of the second one. I was like, ew. I skipped out on 3. I think I saw the fourth one, and I forget all the titles of these daggone movies because there's like Resident Evil, then there's like you know what? Apocalypse, Afterlife, and like all this other.
The titles are hard to remember.
Yes.
Is it me?
Yes, they really are.
You had Resident Evil, then you had Resident Evil 2, and it wasn't even Nemesis. I thought it was. It was a different title.
Now you're gonna make
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
run them off, Kim. Run them off.
Okay. Resident Evil Apocalypse came out 2004. Resident Evil Extinction 2007. Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Retribution, and Resident Evil The Final Chapter.
I saw Resident Evil. I saw Afterlife. I saw that. I think I saw some of Retribution. Isn't that where like a lot of those old characters came back, or something like that?
See, that's again. A lot of it's starting to blur because
Yes,
I remember the last one because they were in like a whole like post-apocalyptic kind of area and they're all fighting on the actual streets.
Right.
I remember that one. I remember the first one. I remember some of the one with the Ashanti one because that's where they got the clones from.
right.
And I remember the beginning of the one where they're on the boat and they're fighting.
Right.
But if you wanted me to put them to movies, I don't know because I
Yeah.
can't remember what movie they belong to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's the part that bothers me the most about the sequels is that
Yeah.
they've done it in a way so that way, yeah, I like they're so meshed together. I can't separate them.
Yeah.
But at the same time is that I don't remember them either.
Exactly. Yes. Like I can definitely remember the first one. I definitely remember the first one, and I only remember Afterlife because I saw that in the movie theaters. But all the other ones,
It's like you barely remember them. Like you probably watched them like 3 or 4 times, and you barely remember what it was about.
Right.
Like I remember there was one where they had like a scene and they were in Tokyo or underground in Tokyo someplace, and like again I don't remember which one that was.
the only thing I remember about the third one is they were in the desert. That's the only one That's the only thing I remember about the third one.
Yeah, and that's where she found the clones. That's the only that's the only reason I remember that she found the clones in that facility.
And I remember the second one because Nemesis was in it, and they totally screwed him up.
Yeah.
So like,
but, it's a mess. It's a hot mess, and they should have just stuck with one, left it at that, called it a day. Same thing with Tomb Raider.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Lord.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies. She's a hard character.
She is
to replicate, especially now because they changed the format of how she looks. They made her look normal again.
Yeah.
And she's a very hard character. She's very complex. And honestly, it's not enough material to make a movie about with her. Because it's the same thing. You kind of go someplace, shoot, bang, bang, bang. Oh, look, it's a dinosaur. Where did the dinosaur come from?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, with that. So on my I have one on my list that I know is on your list, Kendrick. I'm saving that one for last. Never Ending Story 2 should never happen. Titanic 2.
Why? Why? Why is there a Titanic 2? I don't understand this. I don't know why they did that. Wasn't that like a horror movie or something like that? Isn't that what they did with that mess or something? Yeah.
It's a horror movie, all right. Yeah, it's a horror to watch.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, and I said that, and it's on free stuff. So if you go to Tubi or something like that, it is on there. You can watch it.
I've seen it on there. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
You can watch it. I legitimately sat down and said, you know what? Let me get a glass of wine. This is going to be interesting. And what I should have did, I should have played a drinking game because I probably would have been drunk by the time I got done with that movie. That would have been the only way I would have made that fun.
Yep.
Word, I like that.
Oh my God.
That would have been the only way that would have been fun. Other than that, no, that was definitely not. But the last one I have on my list, Kendrick, and I know you have this on your list. You may not. You may not. Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolution.
Those are not on my list. Those are not on my list.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
I have a genuine love for those movies. As messed up as they are, I do. Don't get me wrong, I love the first one. I understand that the second one was an action movie. The only thing I really didn't like about The Matrix Reloaded was the dependency on CGI, especially for the fight scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
The Matrix Revolutions, I could literally do without the whole rest of the movie. All I just needed was the final fight between Neo and Smith. That's all I needed.
And that's why I don't like them, because the storyline for both of those movies were so terrible.
I think they got too convoluted for their own. I think they got too I think they got too engaged in their own hype.
Yes.
I think that's what happened. Like the first one, perfect.
Yeah.
I think they got too drunk on their own hype, and that's what kind of destroyed the two movies. So I understand why you have them on your list. I didn't have the heart to put them on there. I didn't, and I really thought about it too. I'm like, do I want to put them on here? But I was like, you know what? No.
I
no.
really thought you did have them on there too, because I'm like, Kendrick will have this. I'm like, I'm gonna wait
I
till
almost
last.
did.
Because...
You were right. I almost did, but I was like, it's the Matrix. This defined me. As a teenager, it defined me. I can't.
Yeah.
No, but it's just so, like, if they were to do it again,
yes,
with a better script,
yeah,
Right.
I probably wouldn't have so many qualms about it. But the fact that the script was so terrible, and you felt it as soon as you started watching the movie, immediately as soon as you started, the first 10 minutes, you're like, what?
I'll be honest with you. Watching the Matrix Revolutions, I really didn't care about anything else. The only thing I was concerned about was the final fight. That's it.
Yeah.
And even the way the movie ended, I was like, really? This is how it ends? I mean, I was okay with Neo dying, but I'm like, this is it? Yeah. It's kind of lackluster for an ending. Like, come on.
But that's the way that is.
Yeah.
But yeah. That is totally my list.
Mm-hmm.
I would add more. I would add one more to my list, but I haven't watched it yet. So, and that's that Bill and Ted movie that's coming out. The Bill and Ted movie that just came out, but I'm having to watch it. I'm not going to pass judgment yet. And the only reason I'm going to say it is I think it's too long. I think they waited too long to put this movie out. But we will see. I won't pass judgment yet. So
okay, all right.
Yeah. All right.
Real quick, just to jump into the chat before I give my list. Daryl said a couple of things. He said that when we were talking about the villains, he said that's what the Netflix shows did. The Netflix shows did a really good job with the Marvel stuff, like Kingpin.
Yes.
Woo, Kingpin boy, like Kingpin.
They nailed it.
Kingpin and Kilgrave are my two favorite villains from the Marvel Netflix shows. Like they really are. He said the 2 Star Wars novels about Darth Maul and Boba Fett. Yeah, they can easily adapt those into movies or a TV series. Daryl said Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors. I kind of fuck with that. I'm sorry.
Dream Warriors was all right.
I kind of messed with that though. That was low key kind of dope.
Yeah.
Bearded Beast said Glass was terrible. Josh said that she liked Glass. It showed that the heroes weren't invincible and that people shouldn't just rely on them to fix the problems.
Right.
There's so many things that Glass could have.
They could have done differently.
There's a lot of things that they could have done to address those things actually.
Yeah.
Like the thing where like she was saying that she really helps like people who think that they have powers live normal lives. I think that would have been okay to explore, but the whole plot is that she's part of a secret organization and all this other stuff. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing now? No, dog. No. Daryl said that Highlander 2. You know, to this day, I have never watched Highlander 2. I've seen 1. I've seen 3. I've seen what's that? Highlander Endgame, which is probably one of my favorite ones. I even watched that crapfest Highlander: The Source. The last Highlander movie that came out on TV. I even watched that crap, and that was horrible. But Highlander 2, I mean, I heard that Highlander 2 was like the weakest one out of the whole series. Even though they have like a renegade cut, I'm like, whatever. He also said RoboCop 3. RoboCop 3 is cheesy for me. It is. Even though Peter Weller is not in it, it's cheesy for me because now they have like a ninja robot and all this other stuff. He has a jetpack. He has a jetpack, and I'm like, what is it like? Like, if y'all gonna go for it, y'all might as well go for it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Problem Child 2. I actually like Problem Child 2.
Okay, so the problem with Problem Child 2 is that it led to a lot of movies that should have never happened.
Now, I know there was like another sequel that came out. I know there was like a 3 that came up, but they changed like the whole entire cast. I'm like, okay, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I don't know if he means that in particular as far as the fact that Problem Child, I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Yeah, I'll have to say that. Yeah, Problem Child 2, I would have to say it needed to not happen.
Yeah, probably didn't.
Probably didn't.
But I did get a kick out of some of the things in it, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the first one was okay. It's like any of the Chucky movies, you know, any of the Child's Play movies. Like that's another thing that continued on for too long.
Honestly speaking, I would have been okay after 2. Like after 2, I think I was pretty good. 3, okay, all right. Bride of Chucky, that's when it just started going to Jokeville. Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, I thought was pretty okay. And then Cult of Chucky was like, wow, okay. what are we doing? Josh said that she was disappointed with Break the Internet. She's actually kind of was disappointed with both movies, and she thinks like she likes part one that had it's like part one had too much Sugar Rush World. Part two just didn't feel structured. I'll probably sit down and watch it. I think it's still on Netflix, so I'll probably watch it one day. But like, I don't know. I wasn't like in a rush to watch it.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying is that part two is like it's kind of a lot of things that just don't go together.
Right.
And it wouldn't necessarily go together even if you just sat down and thought about it as like a story.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even mesh.
Yeah.
It's like basically it's like sticking Sonic into Final Fantasy VII.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
I mean,
yeah, Bearded B said Grown-ups 2 was so. Like, yeah, it's literally like one of those movies that like you'll forget if you don't see it for a while. You'll forget it. And Josh said Frozen 2 wasn't needed.
First of all, I'm gonna say this right now. Most Disney 2 movies, Lion King 2, no, Cinderella's, Mulan. Trying to think everything had Pocahontas.
I'll tell you right now, it's funny that she mentions that because that's part of my honorable mentions. Most Disney animated movies that have sequels don't need them. Peter Pan 2, Cinderella 2, Pocahontas 2. What'd you say? The Lion King 2, Mulan 2.
I'm trying to think of all the 2s that came out because there's a lot of 2s that
there's a lot of Disney movies got sequels. I'm like, why? Like, we don't need sequels to this. Like, I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
It's like, and it's because they build on the success of the first movie. They're like, this was so successful. We need a second one.
I mean, hell, we got an Aladdin trilogy. There was a 2 and 3 to that.
Yeah, there was.
So which one?
Like Aladdin, because we have Aladdin, then we have The Return of Jafar, and then we have Aladdin and the 40 Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another one that I really didn't understand Return of Jafar anyway.
And the crazy part is, we had an animated series for Aladdin too. I'm like, why do we need movies? We got a series now.
Because it did so well. Aladdin did so well. Because first of all, you got to think, that was the closest thing to a person of color.
I'm not gonna lie, Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney animated movies. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Next to The Lion King, Aladdin is like one of like my top favorite Disney animated movies.
Yeah, that was one of the more. Up until that point, that was one of the more relatable characters for most people of color because they had color.
Yeah.
And then you had Lion King, where you knew they were from Africa.
Yeah.
So, The Hunchback 2 is another one. Yeah, The Hunchback.
That's right. Hunchback. Yep. So that is definitely part of my honorable mentions. Like a lot of Disney animated movies that had sequels didn't need them. They really didn't. Like again,
a lot of them. And
Pocahontas 2, Peter Pan. I'm like,
and you know what it is? It's a lot of it's not them not having good ideas. As long as, and in my mind, as long as you don't make a So Dear to My Heart 2, or A Song of the South 2.
I'm like, what?
Do what you want.
I'm like, Disney, you're supposed to be better than
Waste
this.
your money.
Like,
waste your money.
Like the only things I'll excuse were like the Toy Story movies. I'll excuse those. Cars 2 was horrible.
I actually did not like anything after Toy Story 1.
Really? I dug Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. I haven't seen 4 yet, so I gotta watch 4. But I enjoyed Toy Story 1. I enjoyed the Toy Story movies. I still gotta watch 4. But
those aren't Disney movies. That's
exactly,
that's technical.
And that's the same thing too. Like those are Disney Pixar movies, and then it just became Pixar movies. So yeah, I can see that. What other Disney movie that I'm thinking of?
Let's take a look. What Disney movies with
because even Incredibles doesn't count because that's Pixar now also.
Yes, that's always been Pixar.
Well, technically it's Disney Pixar. They both joined together on that.
But it's technically still independent though. What happens is that although it's Disney, Pixar is still independent from Disney. So you'll never see a Disney character cross over to a Pixar movie or vice versa.
Right.
Because they're always going to be separate.
I still like the first Incredibles more over than Incredibles 2. And I like Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
But I just really love the first Incredibles.
Did you know there were 3 Cinderellas?
What? Wait a second. Didn't she have
my
like
gosh.
kids or something, or like sisters or something like that in the third one or something like that? Some craziness.
It's like a twist in time is the name of the character. So apparently something happened. Then The Little Mermaid had a sequel.
Oh yeah, that crap.
Bambi had a sequel.
Oh my God, that's right. There was a Bambi too.
Oh God, there was a Bambi too.
Oh my God,
Yeah, I remember that.
I totally remember that. There was a Bambi too.
Emperor's New Grooves had a sequel. Kronk's New Groove.
I didn't. Did I watch that? Because Emperor's New Groove is my movie.
I love him. Pull the lever.
Yeah. I don't think I watched the second one. I don't think I did. No, you know what? I did, and I don't even remember it.
Yeah, Fox and the Hound had a second one.
Yes, they were just dropping like sequel after sequel for like a good stretch of time for no reason.
The Lady and the Tramp,
Yeah.
a Goofy movie. Okay.
See now,
Goofy movie.
I mean, see, all right, see now, the first Goofy movie is like treasure.
Yeah.
First of all, first Goofy movie is treasure. Like, did I even see? I don't even think I saw the second one. The extremely Goofy movie, I didn't see that. Like, if there was more Powerline in it, then I probably would have saw it. But
now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head for the rest of the For the first time ever. Oh my goodness, that song's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. Like, you can't, like, Powerline made the rest that made the end of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, there was a Jungle Book 2, Lilo and Stitch 2.
Oh my God, there were so many sequels. Holy crap. Uh-oh. Did you get frozen? Huh?
Don't tell me there was an Atlantis too.
Was there an Atlantis too?
Yeah, 101 Dalmatians. Actually, there was three Lilo. It was three Lilo and Stitch. Just Lilo and Stitch, Lilo and Stitch 2, Leroy and Stitch.
Oh God.
Leroy and Stitch.
Mm-hmm. Tarzan had a second movie.
Tarzan had like two other movies. Like there was like Tarzan 2, and then Tarzan and Jane. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yep. Beauty and the Beast had 2 movies.
Really?
Actually, 3 movies.
Oh God.
Actually, Lion King had 3 movies as well.
Well, there's Lion King 1.5, and then Lion King 2.
Yeah. All the Pooh movies got a sequel. And the Brave Little Toaster also had a sequel. If you remember the Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah.
That was a creepy animated film.
Yes.
The Brave Little. There was some parts in it that were just like
yes.
Yo, this is creepy, man.
I'm probably gonna watch that.
It's in the eyes. Their eyes will
yes, like when they're in the part where they're in the I don't know what you call it, the dump or whatever, and the thing is picking them up, and it's just like it looks so menacing.
Yes.
Like, come on now. It's like, come on, like this is a kids movie, but I watched it. That's probably why I'm not scared. That's probably not afraid of scary movies anymore. So I watched stuff like that as a kid, no problems. But Kendrick, you're up.
Just going to the chat. Josh said, "Don't waste your time with Toy Story 4." I kind of gotta watch it. I gotta complete the circle. I have to complete the circle.
He has to complete the circle.
Oh gosh, Josh.
And you said you'd never sing on stream. Who's that directed to?
That's me, because I started singing the Powerline song.
Josh, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Your boy is going to be singing his rendition of the theme of Mystery Science Theater 3000 when we do that next time when we do when we watch like a really bad movie. Doing it. I'm practicing now as we speak.
All right.
I couldn't help that though. You can't help that with the Powerline song. It's one of those things you have to sing it when it comes on.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sing it, but yeah.
All right, so just to get onto my list now, let me get through my honorable mentions first. Let me get those out of the way. Again, we already talked about all the most of the Disney animated movies that had sequels, and that's done. Really, I mean, and it's really crazy for me to say this, but any movie after Terminator 2 kind of didn't need to happen. Terminator 3 didn't really have that flair. Again, Terminator Salvation, if they had just focused on John Connor, it would have been a great movie.
I dig it. Yep.
I actually dig Terminator Genesis. I might be the only one that does. I actually dig Terminator Genesis. I like the fact that they actually went in a different direction. I have not seen Terminator Dark Fate yet. I'm gonna get to that at some point, but I heard that was a dumpster fire too.
Yeah.
But really, anything after Terminator 2 really wasn't supposed to happen. That was supposed to be the end of it. So we were supposed to be done. So yeah, anything after Terminator 2, yeah, shouldn't have happened. S. Darko. That was the sequel to Donnie Darko. I actually sat.
There was a sequel?
Yes. I actually sat and watched that, and I was like, oh my god, this has none of the Donnie Darko flair, so nope. Taken 2 and 3. And I love me some Liam Neeson.
There was a third?
Yeah, there was a third. I love me some Liam Neeson.
I may sound like a parrot right now because I'm really shocked that there's I know there was a Taken 2.
Yeah. There's a 3. I don't even think I got through all of 3. I couldn't get through it. I was like, why is this a thing now? Because then he became the target. Like after Taken 1, that's all we needed. That is all we needed. Like, all right, Liam, you prove you're a badass. Let's move on. But
With his set of skills.
But no, he gave us a Taken 2, and then he gave us a Taken 3. I'm like, we didn't need to do this, man.
With his special set of skills.
And we already talked about this before. Anything after Home Alone 2? No. Anything after Home Alone 2 didn't need to happen.
No.
Like, if you're not going to keeping with continuity, then don't do it. In fact, I think there are a couple of sequels that tried to revisit the Kevin McAllister character or something like that.
Well, the problem is that, number one, they waited too long.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Home Alone 2, the problem is there is a continuity error with that. As far as it's concerned, that people don't like. So a lot of people don't actually like 2. But as far as it's going to go into the third movie, and I don't know how many people have seen this movie. Like it's rounding around this race car, this stupid race car.
I saw it on TV when it came on TV. I'm like, it's cute, but it's like this doesn't need to be a Home Alone movie.
Yeah,
honestly.
It was literally about a race car, and it's like, it's the dumbest thing ever. But it's again, honestly, I guess they were trying also not to traumatize this kid as much as they did. What's his face? Macaulay Culkin.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can tell the difference immediately. The traps are not even the same.
Nope.
They knew.
No, Kevin McAllister was on his jigsaw mess. He was trying to kill somebody.
Yeah.
he was trying to kill people. Like, nah, like.
They traumatized Macaulay Culkin so bad.
They really did, though. They really kind of did, though, in that first movie. Like, so it was like, but no, it was like, I don't know. In fact, now I'm looking through the actual franchise. Like, Home Alone 4 was a made-for-TV movie. It was a made-for-TV movie. Like, as a matter of fact, and I think the fifth one was almost like trying to be like a reboot, and that's where they reintroduced like the Kevin they reintroduced the McAllister family again. So I'm like, what? No, let's not do this. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So like anything after Home Alone 2, we didn't need anymore. We didn't need. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but it has to be said. We can stop with the Land Before Time movies. We can stop now. What are they
still going?
What are they after, like 20? Like it seems like every year they drop a sequel. I think they stopped with the movies and they think they turned into like something else. But like, let me just see here, because like now I gotta look. Yeah. Oh my god! Yeah, the last sequel was like 2016.
When I went to go click it, it literally said, it showed you like 6. And it's like, yeah, there's 20 more. Like what?
Mm-hmm. You have the Land Before Time, The Great Valley Adventure, The Time of the Great Giving, Journey Through the Mist, The Mysterious Island, The Secret of Stars Rock, The Stone of Cold Fire, The Big Freeze, Journey to Big Water, The Great Long Neck Migration, Invasion of the Tiny Sauruses, The Great Day of the Flyers, The Wisdom of Friends, The Journey of the Brave. And then they actually had an animated series, which I think I remember. So I'm like, are we done? Are we done yet? Because like, I don't know how long we can keep this going. So Yeah, anything Land Before Time, and we already talked about this too. Anything after Transformers 2, with the exception of Bumblebee.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, anything after Transformers 2, like, yeah, that was we should have just stopped. We really should have just stopped. Now to go on to my main list, I'm going to start from the bottom all the way to the top. So my number 10, I got 10 on this list. So my number 10 is Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
I didn't even like the first one.
I barely liked the first one. It had some funny moments, but I was like, I don't know why they needed to make a sequel to that. I just don't know why. Number 9, we talked about this, Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
Yeah.
It was a mess. It was just a mess. We talked about this one too. Some of these we actually already talked about. So let me just go through them. Like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, pointless. Speed 2, Cruise Control. I don't know why. Son of the Mask, garbage. Jurassic Park, Fallen Kingdom. I don't know why. Batman and Robin. Superman 4. So the only other two that I haven't listed, some ones we didn't talk about. So it's American Psycho 2, All American Girl. As a person who was a big fan of American Psycho, the movie, like, they actually made a sequel. Now, here's the kicker. This wasn't supposed to be a sequel to the movie. This was supposed to be like a standalone horror thriller movie and stuff with Mila Kunis in it, but for some reason, they decided to turn this into the sequel to American Psycho. They tied in, like, and the crazy part, how they tied the movie together was the opening scene. So apparently Mila Kunis' character plays a character that survived Patrick Bateman. So, like, she had a babysitter that was dating Patrick Bateman, and they both went to his apartment, and he was getting ready to kill them both. See, she somehow managed to kill them and escape, and then she went on to become a killer. So, like, yeah, the whole story was, like, complete. Yeah, exactly, Kim, exactly. That's the face I made. So I was just like, That movie was horrible. American Psycho 2 doesn't deserve to be called American Psycho 2. It should just be called All American Girl. That's it. But they're not going to change that title, and I don't know why. And then the last one I have on my list, well, I'll probably talk about a couple of these things. Like, I mean, we don't really need to talk about Speed 2, Cruise Control, Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom. That was just a complete mess. Batman and Robin damn near killed the live-action Batman franchise. It really did. Superman 4. I mean, when I was a kid, Superman 4 was kind of cool, only because I didn't know any better. So I was okay with it. You know, watching Superman battle someone like Nuclear Man, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Superman got sick, then he started to age. I'm like, what is happening to Superman? This is not cool. Then he got his powers back. And then, but then as I got older, I'm like, wait a second. Some of these things don't make any sense. Can Superman breathe in space? Like,
he apparently doesn't have any need for oxygen.
I'm like, a lot of these things aren't making any sense in this movie. Like, again, you can build walls with just vision.
Right.
Like, when did the comics books establish that? I never known that to be a thing. So, like, and then just the quality of the movie itself. Like, there was a lot of reused footage. Like, all the flying was just reused. It was so bad. Like, oh my god. Like, and then the whole reasoning behind the movie, he wants to rid the world of all nuclear weapons. I'm like, I understand this is you trying to send a message and stuff. I'm like, nah, you ain't need to do all this, man. Like, in fact, I like Superman 3 over Superman 4, and Superman 3 is horrible too. I was gonna throw Superman 3 up on here, actually, but it's like, And whatchamacallit, Daryl, you're right. Wild Things 2 and 3, yeah, those didn't need to be things. Those did not need to be movies. And then my last one is Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
No.
To me. Oh wait, you like that?
That I love all my Johnny Depp movies. Don't play with me.
To me, that's the only one that doesn't fall in continuity with the franchise. That's my thing. Like, you know, Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, and Dead Men Tell No Tales. To me, all those fall in line in continuity. I feel like on Stranger Tides, it's just out of continuity because, like, there was no setup for it, and then there was no follow-up to it either. Like with on Dead Man Tell No Tales, there's no follow-up to what happened in the last movie. I'm not saying that it's inherently bad. I'm just saying it doesn't fall in continuity with everything else. So, I mean that's just my thing. Like the first 3, I love those movies. Even though a lot of people don't. I love those movies. I really love Dead Man's Chest. I love it. I love
Can I tell you that On Stranger Tides is the only movie I own?
Really?
For Pirates of the Caribbean.
As much as you love this, you don't own the whole series?
I don't own the whole series. It's the one movie I own.
Wow. Interesting.
And I don't. Hey, maybe I'm just on a different wavelength as that, but I don't know. It's like I have a nostalgic thing for it. I think because I love the ride at Disney so much that I have to love
The
Pirates.
franchise.
Yeah,
I have to.
It is a great ride. It is a great experience. It is.
You know, so it's
I
like
mean,
I have to love it. It's not a question of if or when. I remember the first time I rode the ride, I was probably like this tall. I'm like, it's just one of those things that even when I go, I have to get on Pirates. I don't care if it's an hour wait. I have to wait the hour to get on Pirates. It's a must. So
it's funny because the first Pirates movie I saw was Dead Man's Chest. That was the first movie I saw, and then I went back and watched Curse of the Black Pearl. I was like, this franchise is actually pretty good. And then the third one came out. I was like, okay, all right, I dig this. You know, I mean that's just my only gripe with it. Like, I'm not saying it's inherently a bad movie. I just feel like it's not in continuity with the other movies, and that's kind of the thing. And so it's like my thing is like certain sequels that kind of don't follow in continuity, like just kind of don't make any sense to me. You know, so
Right.
I mean, I know a lot of people like to say that Ghostbusters 2 is kind of like a bad sequel, but I'm like, I don't really think it is.
Who doesn't like Vigo?
Exactly
It
the
is
point.
Vigo.
Like there was like a good stretch of time where people really didn't like Ghostbusters 2 because they felt like it was like a retread of Ghostbusters 1. I'm like, not really.
No.
It's like we have Vigo, who I think is a really good villain, by the way. Like, I think they could have done more with him, but I really think he was a good villain. But no, I think it stands on its own as a movie. I mean, it doesn't have the sharpness and the wit like the first movie did, and I think that's why people didn't like it. They felt like it was too much more like the cartoon, but I'm like, it is what it is, folks. Come on.
The first one, you had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you get a little extra fun with the second one. You got your own little things.
Exactly.
I'm like, what else can you do? I'm like, you got a Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I thought was like the dopest thing ever when I was a kid. That was like crazy.
I'm like, that makes me like that's and I was so upset that you can't go to the torch anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was so upset because I wanted to do it just because of that movie.
Exactly.
It's like, because they're sitting up there in the crown and in the torch, they're kind of just like,
with a Nintendo gamepad.
There you go.
Using a Nintendo, I'm like, they're using a Nintendo gamepad. What more do you want, people?
Your love keeps on lifting me higher and higher.
No, that movie, I don't see how people can hate that movie. That movie is great.
That's one. I think it has its own charm. It definitely has its own charm. It has its own thing, and again, it's like you can't not. It makes you want to go do certain things.
Exactly.
It makes you want to be able to kind of go. You know, it's like who doesn't want a Vigo? Oh, actually, I don't want a Vigo, but still, who doesn't want a Vigo? You know, staring at them in the middle of the night. You know.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to have a Vigo painting on their wall? Like, come on,
you know, it's like it's Vigo.
Like I'm still waiting for someone to give me a proton pack, like a life-size one. I would like this. I would like to be gifted a proton pack. I will do an unboxing on my channel. Like why is this such? Why is it so bad?
I mean, it's kind of one of those things, and you know, and I think people always find something to complain about. You look at now. As far as like 1 and 2, and then you look at the other Ghostbuster movie.
But we got such an amazing song out of it from Bobby Brown. I mean,
that too.
Yeah.
See, look, y'all gonna get Josh started, man. She gonna ask for a whole concert, right?
You know it.
Like, I mean, listen, I will say this about Ghostbusters 2016.
That was for you, Josh.
And I've said it before in my review. I don't find 2016 Ghostbusters to be an inherently bad movie. I don't really think it is.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of steps that they took that were wrong. I think
Yes.
not connecting it to the actual franchise hurt them. I honestly think not attaching it to the first two movies kind of hurt them. I think some of the writing might have been, I think
Yeah, a lot of the writing was, including a lot of the jokes did not land in that movie. I would say 85% of the jokes did not land.
Here's what I said about it. I said, I really feel like if somebody else had made that movie, if there's a different filmmaker for the Ghostbusters 2016 movie, I think it would have fared a lot better than what it did.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people would have been more receptive to it than what they were. Like trying to throw an agenda in there didn't really help it too much.
It would have been nice. What they would have done, it would have been nice if they would have did as a Ghostbusters 3, but they would have incorporated a woman into, the place of our missing Ghostbuster, who long passed. At that point, we would have had that transition to a female in that position. At that point, a younger cast, and at that point, we could have went into an all-female cast. They did it all wrong. They kind of just forced, and they did the same thing with Doctor Who. I can't say the same thing. They did the same thing with Doctor Who, where they basically force-fed you a lot of information. I'm going to give you females. I'm going to give you same-sex. I'm going to give you. It's like a lot of. And it's fine. Everything is fine. But the problem is you have to do it the right way. You can't just kind of go surprise.
Exactly. You can't you can't try to force it down our throats. That's the problem.
It has to serve the narrative of what the story is trying to
and
tell.
That's my main issue with a lot of things. And people don't seem to understand why I have certain gripes with things. Like, if it doesn't fall in continuity with what happened before, it's not gonna work for me. Like, it has to fall in continuity with everything else. Like the women in the Ghostbusters 2016 movie, they're funny by themselves. They didn't need that hacky writing to make them seem funnier than what they were. Like, who did a good job of incorporating them into the main continuity of Ghostbusters? The comic books. The IDW comic books did a great job of incorporating the 2016 Ghostbusters crew with the mainstream Ghostbusters crew. Like the comic book series, what's it called? Ghostbusting 101. I have the whole series. They did a great job of meshing those two groups together and making everything work out.
But the thing is, again, it's just one of those things where they just did it wrong.
Yeah.
It never should have been made. It really shouldn't have. Honestly, it wasn't as terrible as people make it out to be. But it really wasn't. That was one of those things that never should have been made. At least not now.
Exactly.
It should have moved from 3 to them. And then them handing over the torch, because now we're out of context at this point, because it feels like an out of universe type of thing. And even when you look at the actual writing, the ghosts that they're fighting, the main character that they're fighting, it's like, oh my goodness, make it stop. It's like, make it stop. I'm like, you're making this character like. No. You're
convoluted things that didn't need to be convoluted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened.
I'm like, so bottom line, if they would have just did it that way, incorporate a female into the position, because now you need a head scientist.
Exactly.
So it would have been nice to either put Kirsten Morgan in or I can't think of the other girl's name right now.
Kate McKinnon?
Yeah. Put one of them in there. Probably Kirsten would have made more sense because she's
she was supposed to be like the straight man in all of this.
Yeah. So it would have made more sense to put her in that particular position. And in that way, she would have had to interact with the guys, and then it would have given her more of a personality to go into the actual. And that was another thing they were missing personalities.
Yeah.
A lot of their characters had no specific personalities, just bad jokes.
Yeah, they were just like quip machines and stuff. It was like,
Yeah.
So. But I think Daryl said in the comments, Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas.
Yeah, that shouldn't have been a thing. That should not have been a thing. I don't know why they did that. That, like, the first Flintstones movie, boom.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfectly casted.
Yep.
Good for its time. Good. No, we got a sequel because for some reason.
Isn't that the one with Halle Berry in it?
No, the first one, the original live action movie, Halle Berry was in that one.
Okay. So which one was this one?
Viva Rock Vegas was like a prequel to when Wilma and Fred were dating and Barney had just met Betty on Rebel.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
why I don't remember it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's like I know people watch the other one because of Halle Berry. I know that much. A lot of people watch it because of Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Like basically scantily clad Halle Berry.
Well,
People were pretty much glued to it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't necessarily go wrong with that. So, let's not split hairs here.
I can't say nothing. It's the Momoa effects for me, so it's the same thing.
Josh said COVID has messed up her whole year of concert, her whole concert itch for this year, so she can take whatever she can get. Listen, I ain't singing. I ain't singing. I'll probably play the beat. I'll like, not from my mouth, but I'll play a beat or something like that. I got a lot of instrumentals on my laptop, so
yeah.
But I ain't singing. That's not what I do.
Oh, well, she's a music fan. Obviously, she likes people with musical talent. I take it.
But I don't know.
She got sung to twice this time because two iconic songs came up, so I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, you guys. If I hurt anybody's ears with my yipping, I apologize.
Like, I don't know. Like, sequels are an interesting take because unless you're a movie based off like a book or based off of a cartoon, like, you know, even then it's still a gamble because you got to figure out a way to continue a storyline. Like, you know, of course there's some really good sequels out there. I mean, The Godfather Part 2, it's a great sequel. Like, again, we just talked about Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 2 works for what it is.
Right.
Trying to talk stuff off the cuff is kind of hard now because you got to really think about it. Yeah, but there are some really good ones, and there are ones that really, really, really work. But you know, it's like, but some of them, it's just like you have to look back and you're like, you know what? It's because technically, wasn't Tron a sequel of the original Tron?
Yeah. Like Tron Legacy was a sequel, and I mean,
that worked.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. Tron Legacy is my shit. I love Tron Legacy so much.
Yeah, that worked.
I was thinking about it the other day. I almost watched it, and I don't know. I think I got caught up with something and I didn't watch it, but I was gonna throw it in. I'm like, I haven't watched this in a minute, man. Like, you know what? I was listening to the soundtrack while I was working out.
And it's on Disney Plus, so it's easy enough.
Yeah. Every time I walk into a place, I just want them to play End of Line. Just me walk through the door and don.
You know what? I might have to watch it tomorrow, man. Like,
even with the Journey song they picked.
Yeah.
It's a lesser known Journey song. A lot of people did not know until that movie came out.
Right.
And it's like now it's like you hear it all the time now because it's just like it's a banger. It's like you have too many. But it was one of those things. There's a lot of movies like that shows that Disney can do a sequel well.
Yep.
Right.
If they try.
Exactly.
That's the key.
Because I'm like, look, like even the CGI younger version of Jeff Bridges. Like, I know a lot of people have their grasp with it. Like, of Clue. I'm like,
Clue.
I mean, like, I can excuse that because the way the character was written. That's why I can excuse it. It's like I know how Clue was in the original movie, but this Clue was different, man. I dug this Clue. I was like, I love what he was doing, and like just the whole story behind it. It was like it was, part of me was like, I kind of wish this movie was longer, man. I'm like, there's so much happening here that I'm really digging. But it's like, what we got with Tron Legacy, man. Like, I'm really hoping for a third part, and I'm really hoping like the story's well written.
You know what it is. I don't want a third. I want it to end exactly where it is. I don't want it to continue. I
kind of understand that too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
because honestly, the way Tron Legacy ended, I'm like, you know what? This is good.
Yeah.
You know, he saved his son. He got the ISO out. I can roll with this.
Did you see the little film, like the little side films that were released, like with Garrett Hedlund? He was approached by reporters, and he opened up his shirt and it said Flynn lives.
Yep, I remember that.
and Alan had a little chat with the other programmer who actually played Ram in the original one. And they kind of called each other. They said, "Okay, Tron, you can see you later, Ram." You know, and I honestly, I want to know how Korra is doing in the real world. You know.
Yeah, but I think that'd be a boring movie.
If we got like a short or something like that,
yeah.
I think I could roll with that. Like, just to see how she adapts to the real world, I could be okay with that.
Yeah, but as far as her living in the real world would be stupid unless somehow, some way, the people in the who took over and he got out.
Yeah,
that's the only other way they can make that movie work.
You know what's so crazy? I kind of wanted that to happen in Tron Legacy. I kind of wanted Clue to get out. I was like, I kind of hope he gets out. I want to see how this works. But I don't like what we got with Tron Legacy. I would never change it. I enjoy that movie a great deal. A lot of people I know really like it. So
it is a really good movie. It's a really good movie. But it's a sequel, and that's but like I said, it shows some people can do sequels well, especially Disney if they really put their heart into it. And that's somebody who put their heart into that script. Somebody really thought about it, and they said, you know what, it has been. The original came out in 1982. This movie came out in 2010.
Yeah.
Somebody really thought hard about that and said, you know what, he got a 20-something-year-old son.
Yeah.
Like Daryl mentioned Scooby-Doo 2. I don't even think I saw Scooby-Doo 2 actually.
Which one was that one? Was that the one where
Monsters Unleashed?
I thought it was Monsters Unleashed.
Because wasn't the first one where Scrappy-Doo was the main villain?
Yeah.
That was the first one, right?
Yeah. Scrappy was the main villain.
Yeah, I never saw Scooby-Doo 2. I never saw it.
But I'm going to look it up right now just to make sure if this is the one I'm looking at.
Although I did like that touch with the first Scooby-Doo and making Scrappy-Doo the villain because like nobody likes him. Nobody likes Scrappy-Doo.
Okay, yeah, it says the one where they turn Velma into like the hot version of Velma.
Oh yeah, that's right. But then again, she's always been hot, so I don't know what people talk about.
No. I'm putting a quotation mark. They put her in a leather suit.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they put her in a leather suit. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't remember it well enough.
Yeah.
That I can actually be like, okay, I can watch this.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. The kid movies too. So it's like, if you look at Scooby-Doo was just as cheesy when we were growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like it kind of goes with tradition.
Yeah.
It's like some people would even say like Addams Family Values was like a bad sequel, and I'm like, and I love it.
Addams Family Values. That's part 2, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
I love Addams Family Values. What? Addams Family Values is my shit. Look, like when my man Gomez was going off in that precinct, I was in it. I was like, man, my man's spitting some facts out here. And then like when he had his mental breakdown, I'm like, yo, what's going on with Gomez? Like, no. I crack up every time I see that scene. Like that scene is hilarious because I'm like, Raul Julia is acting his ass off in this movie, boy. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see the last one because they came up with another one called Addams Family Reunion, and the whole cast was different. I'm like, nope, not watching that. Even though Tim Curry's in it, I'm like, and I usually rock with Tim Curry, but like, nah, this is Addams Family. Like, if it's not Raul Julia, it ain't Gomez for me, dog. It ain't. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Yes, it's like I think it's kind of stopped there because they have an Addams Family movie that just came out last year, but I don't know if that's a sequel or not. I'm not too sure what that is.
I feel like that's supposed to be like a remake or a reboot or a reimagining and stuff or something like that. I mean, because I remember because we had the movies, we had the cartoon, we had the animated series. I remember there was a series on like when what was it, like Fox Family, that when it was called Fox Family or something else like that. I'm telling my age now. Like Fox
Family or ABC Family?
When it was Fox Family. When it was Fox Family. And it was like dropping a whole bunch of shows at the time. Yeah. Like, they had like the new Addams Family. I'm like, I'm not watching this. Nope.
Yeah. Nope. They even tried to redo the Munsters All right, well, listen, I got to get going. I got to check on the dog and feed him and put him to bed.
Yeah, we're actually
had a
we're
great
pretty
time
much
with
done.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
getting ready to close this thing out, man. I think we got everything we need to talk about.
Cool.
You know, don't let this list discourage you, because there definitely are some good sequels out there, guys. There really are.
Yeah.
Like Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Dang, hold up.
Yeah, we don't even list them. You know
Rambo,
what?
First Blood Part 2. You know?
First one, Part 2, The Dark Knight. You know, there's a plethora of good sequels out there. You know, you just got to weed out the good ones from the bad ones. That's all you got to do.
Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Really, if you're going to be honest, you know, so.
Yeah.
All that being Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. Yes.
Man, I
Doc
caught myself
Ock.
slipping. Spider-Man 2. That's right, god damn it. I said it. All that being said, thank you for tuning into today's episode. I really hope you have fun with us. Thank you to everyone in the chats for contributing their input for bad sequels, and trust me, there are a lot of them. There really are a lot of them. But you know, it is what it is. This is the nature of filmmaking and all that other stuff. So you know, we will catch you guys next week with another show. I think we got to figure out what topic we're going to be covering.
Yeah, we haven't picked up a topic for next week yet.
Yeah,
if you guys have any ideas,
we
let
usually
us
come
know.
with good stuff.
Yeah. But like, as Kim said, if you guys have any things that you would like us to talk about, no concerts, if you would like for us to talk about on the next show, then send your suggestions our way. All our social media inputs are in the description box, so you can definitely catch us in. If you check, if you watched us on Facebook, thanks for tuning in and thanks for inputting stuff. Definitely thank you for checking us out on YouTube again. Subscribe to the channel so you know when we're gonna go live or post up a video. Because sometimes we do one shots, but we've been pretty consistent with this, so we haven't been doing one shots. So hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you know exactly when we post something or when we go live. The audio for this will be up over the weekend, so whatever podcast streaming service you use, definitely check us out there. Again, I'm slowly looking into SoundCloud and seeing what's going on with that. So that's the thing. Our Patreon will be up real soon.
Yeah.
I'm still working with that. Our Patreon will be up soon, so you will catch a lot of our real uncut, you know, straight stuff on there too. For a small donation, of course. Small donation. Support the channel.
And just keep an eye out because you know this next bad movie critique.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Definitely, we're going to probably be posting it up there and having you guys join us for our first one.
Right. Absolutely. No, Josh, we're not shutting you down. If the other guys want to sing, they can go ahead and sing. I'm not going to sing. I'll drop beats. I'll do that. I will drop beats. I'm not going to sing. I do not sing. I will drop beats. I will mix music. I will do all that stuff.
See, if somebody came up to you and said, Kendrick, I'm going to hand you $5 million if you just sing a verse for me, would you sing?
I'm just going to sing the happy birthday song and keep moving.
I'm telling you, Josh, I'm going to sing the theme to Mystery Theater 3000, Mystery Science Theater 3000. When we do that, you know, watch the bad movie situation. I'm going to do it. I'm telling you. I'll
sing the Stranger Things song. I'll do that. I'll sing the Stranger Things song. That's it. I'll do that all day. I don't care. I will do that all day. Cause that beat go hard. I don't care.
In the not too distant future, next Sunday, AD, and that's all you're gonna get.
Daryl said old TV shows that were really good. Man, you gotta make us go in the archives for that one. But that's a good one. We will throw that into consideration because that sounds like a pretty good subject. It really does. So we'll take that into consideration. Of course, or do a discussion on alternate universes. Man, you touching on some super, you know, parallel universe biodigital jazz, man. Like, and I'm all for that because I'm a big fan of
biodigital jazz, man. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Tron Legacy tonight. Y'all got me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm all for alternate universes. There'd have to be a context to that kind of discussion, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was sitting there saying. You're gonna have to. Pick something.
Yeah, you'd have to give us a context to that one. So we'll consider it, but you have to give us a context. Josh said the Halo theme. What?
Which one?
I'll bang out the Halo theme. What you think I'm playing? I don't play Xbox, but I know the Halo theme. I'll drop that right. It's on my computer right now. I will play that junk for you right now. But I'm not gonna do that because we might get copyright stricken.
I like that real moody, that real moody theme.
Like I'm a sucker for like I'm a sucker for orchestral music. Don't play me.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it. Like so, but so yeah, old TV shows that were really good. We'll throw that into the box. And again, the alternate universes discussion, you have to give us a context for that one. We'll be happy to talk about it, but you got to give us a context for that one. Yeah. So definitely hit us up hit us up on Discord if you want to keep the conversation going. We will definitely keep it going there. But continue to submit in the chat or hit us up on our social media. Again, Instagram is a good place to get at us. So if you have any suggestions, or on our Facebook fan page, you can hit us up there too for whatever for whatever discussions you want us to have in the next show. All right. I'm actually getting a little bit hungry myself, so yeah, it's about that time. So and as always, the council
has spoken.
We will catch you guys next week. I hope you guys stay safe this weekend because I know it's Labor Day weekend and I don't imagine too many people going anywhere. But please just stay safe anyway. Again, wash your hands, cover your face. Make sure you what's the word I'm looking for? Make sure you
social distance.
Social distance.
Wear your mask, doggone it.
Wear your mask. Do what The Rock says. The Rock says wear your mask, wash your hands.
That should be a meme right now. Somebody should make that to me.
It really should be.
The Rock says.
Jabronis.
I might have to make. I don't know. I might have to make that, man. I might have to make that one. I might have to make that meme real quick.
Don't be a jabroni. Wear your mask.
Like, wash your hands, sanitize yourself, decontaminate every time you come in the house. Wear your mask, social distance, and all that stuff. And please get regular checkups too. Just go get your regular checkups. Daryl said before we cut out, Daryl said, imagine there being an evil version of yourself in another world. You have to give us some time. You're gonna have to give us some time on that one.
Yeah,
because some of us might have a good version of ourselves in another world.
Yeah.
In another universe, the president is actually doing his job. But we're not going to get into that right now.
There you go.
We're not going to get into that right now. This ain't real political show, but we're not going to get into that right now. But give us more on that. Because I mean, just an evil version of ourselves that can exist anywhere. That doesn't have to be a parallel universe thing. Yeah. That can exist anywhere. So continue to give us a context to that. But we will catch you guys next week, same time, same channel, which is Council of the Blur. So that's not that hard. So we will catch you guys next time, and take care of yourselves. We're out.
Bye-bye.
You were watching Council of the Blurs, a Geekcast. The Council has spoken. End transmission. You were watching Council of the Blurs, a Geekcast.